Hey, what's up, everybody? Look at that. No crazy video today because I got a special guest. We got a collaboration going on.
What's going on, everybody?
This is Rich. He goes by Sunpie. I don't know. Was I not supposed to say your name?
It don't matter. Davey says it all the time, so whatever.
All right. So, yeah. So he does the Off-Label podcast, and we're co-streaming on his channels and these channels that you all see. So I don't know if the show's going to be a little different tonight. Maybe. I don't know. It's just going to be maybe a good show. How's that?
I'm ready for it.
All right. So normally I have a goal on the show. I'm not going to do the goal tonight because that would be kind of rude to do a goal and then make you stay longer. And
okay. Well, I mean, you can do your thing. I'll just drop when I need to.
Oh, okay. All right. So we will do a goal then.
There you go. Do your thing, man. I ain't here to interrupt.
No. All right. So we'll do this just like always. You know, the way it works is we take $100 in total from all platforms, YouTube Super Chats, Rumble Rants, gifted memberships for becoming a member on YouTube or Rumble, also Kick and Twitch memberships, and Locals coins, and Cash App, PayPal, Coffee, Ko-Fi, and Super Tips. We add it all up. When we hit 100, we add an extra hour. And then for each additional $100 that comes in, we add an extra hour to the show. And when we hit 50, we activate Bellavision. Unless somebody donates 20, then we automatically activate Bellavision, which is, where is Bella? Oh, she's here. Hold on. Wow, that's terrible that I didn't have it set up. There we go. Ready? There she is. See her?
No.
Oh, she's not there. She moved. She took off. She went somewhere else. No, Bella's here. Bella's here. We're going to have still only 100 members. We need more. Yeah, we need more members. You don't know where to watch? Watch everywhere. Watch everywhere at the same time.
I mean, why not?
That's what you should do. That's the best thing to do is to watch everywhere all at once at the same time. There she is. In her favorite spot. Just chilling.
Is she munching on the carpet? Oh,
she's eating her foot. She likes to eat her foot. She likes the way it makes her feel, I guess. Anyway. Hey, Red Alert. What's up? Great to see you. All right. So let's do this. Let's get into the first news story of the evening. We got a bunch of news stories to talk. You guys seen them all. You know, we spent all day, me and Rich spent all day going back and forth saying what stories we're going to cover, what's the most important stories. And well, this is what we came up with.
All right. Let's go.
So, oh wait, damn it! I was like not prepared for this at all.
I usually get that way. I start preparing, and then me and Davey get to talk.
Well, what it was, I had it all set up, and then I closed StreamYard out, and then I forgot to reset everything back up. Well, there we go. There we go. That'll work. Let me do that. All right, that's better. All right. So the DOJ announces that 455 defendants were charged in a 45-state roundup worth over $6.5 billion in healthcare fraud. I mean, that's a lot of healthcare fraud, don't you think?
Oh, hell yeah.
I mean,
I'm sorry. But for everybody out there that doesn't even know me, look, I am an asshole. I'm going to be that person. I'll tone it down a little bit. I'll play nice here with Jim, but yeah.
I'm not known for being a nice guy, so don't worry about it.
Well, there you go.
I've been trying to keep my language to, just like I count like the number of fucks and the number of shits and
I want everybody on our channel to be, basically as free as they want to be, no matter what. No,
it's fine. I'm just saying, like, just because like YouTube was like got weird about monetization about if you say too many in the first few minutes, they're like, nah, whatever. So
yeah, that's why most people actually have something within the first little bit of time where it's like the first minute and a half or something where they just play something random that just doesn't, or like an intro, kind of like we do. Yeah.
So they announced these defendants have been charged with stealing over $6.5 billion in healthcare fraud schemes. This team is working tirelessly to take down the fraudsters who steal from taxpayer-funded programs and prey on vulnerable Americans. All right.
If you have more than $250,000 in a
$250,000. Wow.
Federal law does not.
You better get more money if that's all you got.
Right.
Today, we are here to announce the results of the 2026 National Healthcare Fraud.
Can you hear it good?
Yeah, I can hear it great.
All right.
Takedown. This announcement marks the greatest combined federal and state effort in combating healthcare fraud in history. Thanks to the leadership of President Trump and the Vice President and all those folks standing behind me and next to me, we are more united than ever before. This team is working tirelessly to take down fraudsters who steal from taxpayer-funded programs and prey on vulnerable Americans. When we talk about the team that's working on these cases, I want to give some context around that. There are 9 healthcare fraud strike forces that have been part of this effort, 57 U.S. attorney's offices, 41 state attorney general's offices, not red states, not blue states, but both working together with the federal government. Multiple law enforcement agencies, including inspector generals, some of the agencies that are here with me on this stage. That's what we talk about when we say this is an all-government approach to combating fraud. It's not just the Department of Justice. It's not just HHS. It's all government, including working with our state and local partners.
Wow, that's crazy. Working with state and local partners. Wow.
Well, I mean, it's about time.
Here are the top 3 reasons to buy precious metals and become an...
Oh, there you go.
I hate when they do this. It really is aggravating. And it's going to do it again. It's going to do it again.
Yeah, you either have to close it or mute the tab. Yeah, 11
or
Alive does it too. They'll literally auto restart themselves just to get your attention.
That's why I hate Fox, and I try to not use Fox as much as possible, because Fox, you'll go to you'll be 5 tabs past it, and if you haven't closed it, all of a sudden you'll hear something. You're like, where's it coming from? You're trying to figure out where it's coming from, and it's playing.
Right.
It's crazy.
But as far as this goes, all right. Imagine being mad at the fact that this is actually happening, that people are going after this amount of fraud. $6.5 billion of your taxpayer money wasted. And I do say this because this is Medicare, this is Medicaid, this is the Obamacare thing. It was federally subsidized, and that ended. And now everybody's like, oh, 20 million people don't have health care. Look where 6.5 billion went. And apparently it was 455 people.
Yeah. This is a drop in a bucket, though. I firmly believe, personally, that if we get all the fraud under control, we won't have any debt anymore. We will not have deficits. It'll be, guess what? I mean, because we are taking in almost $5 trillion a year in taxes, and somehow we're spending $7 billion. Where is it going? On what?
I mean, let's just admit it, okay? Doge, everybody was like, oh, they're going to find $2 trillion. That was what they were projecting. That was the overall thing. And if they hit that big number or found more, everybody was going to get a check. Well, everybody got up in arms because they didn't hit anything about that, and somehow that's a failure. Look how much they actually found.
It got up there. Yeah.
The 2 trillion was a very high number. This is what they were just like, oh, Jesus Christ. At most, I could probably say 2 trillion. But throw a number at the wall kind of situation. And they still found as much as they did. And that's horribly disgusting. And they say that Doge failed because they didn't reach $2 trillion.
No, they say Doge failed just because that's what they want to say, because it's anything to hurt Trump and Musk because they hate Musk. But the fact is, they did everything they could to stop them from. I mean, think about all the lawsuits, all the stuff. Every time they try to do anything, they were coming in to stop them. Like, no, you can't look here. You can't do this. I mean, it's still happening. Like this, they told us what they were going to do. Chuck Scummer, as I like to call him, got on the fucking floor, got on there and said, hey, man, we put in 270 judges that are going to stop Trump. It's like, wait, that's not what a judge's job is supposed to be. It's supposed to be the law, not stop Trump. But that's what's been going on. We've got dual citizen judges that weren't born in America ruling on cases about who's American citizens and what they can do. It's like, what? What are you talking about? Like,
I mean, isn't that the definition of conflict of interest?
It totally is. But it's it's like so many judges that got appointed by Biden were like naturalized within 10 years of being put on the bench, 5 years, like crazy stuff, and they all just happen to get these cases all the time with Trump.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So it says in one indictment, they're bringing charges against a corporate executive in Arizona in connection to over $1 billion in fraud involving unnecessary wound grafts. The scheme cost Medicare over $1 million per patient in total. They say they charged 11 defendants for $2 billion in fraud in connection with wound care, Shibulgari. I don't know what that word means. Anyway, these individuals then use taxpayer monies to bankroll multi-million-dollar homes, luxury vehicles, a Maserati, jewels, a $865,000 Bulgari necklace. What the hell? Wow. That's crazy. So the schemes did not target government programs. They targeted the American taxpayer. They stole the money from workers who pay taxes. I mean, that's the thing a lot of people don't realize. Like all this stuff, the fraud that's in SNAP, the fraud that's in unemployment, like they just found there's like a bunch of states. New York, I guess, has over $1 million a day or something like that in unemployment fraud that they know about, the people that aren't like.
And they just let it happen?
They just let it happen. It happen. So, and then they got the hospice cases. And the patients never died. They live forever. And like a hospice is like max. It's crazy.
Hospice is pretty damn badass, ain't they? I mean, they keeping people alive, man.
Yeah, like hospice, normally it's like the last week or two of your life.
Right.
Like that's it. It's like basically where you can't not really be in the hospital.
Yeah,
end of life.
Do anything.
There's nothing else you can do for them except for keep them like sedated and keep them like comfortable. That's it. It's not supposed to be a forever thing. But let's hear it. RFK. We're going to hear his beautiful dulcet tones of his voice. After a commercial.
To revitalize our country, we must make it a priority to buy American-made.
Yes, buy American.
President Trump directed this administration to confront healthcare fraud aggressively, and we are doing that. The 2026 National Healthcare Fraud Takedown uncovered $6.5 billion in alleged fraud, the second largest amount ever charged in a single healthcare fraud operation. The Department of Justice charged a record number of Medicaid fraud defendants. More than 440 defendants now face charges. This effort brought together federal agencies, state partners, and U.S. territories across the United States. 18 of the participating states, as Attorney General Blanche pointed out, were blue states with Democratic governors. Fraud does not recognize party lines, and neither does accountability. Today's cases include the largest Medicaid fraud enforcement action in the Department of history, 165 defendants charged with allegedly submitting more than $200 million in false claims to Medicaid. These schemes did not target government programs. They targeted the American tax.
Yeah, they target the American taxpayers. What they do is they'll call you. All right. I get the calls. I'm sure a bunch of other people get the calls. They call you and they say, oh, we need your insurance. We're working with your doctor or your insurance company and you're get this free coverage. You get a free home visit. It's like, it's not free, first of all.
Right.
And they're not working with your doctor. It's a scam. Once you give them any of your information, they start billing your insurance for stuff that you've never gotten.
Right.
Like Maxie says. So that's it. They kept calling me, asking for my med number. I told them LGBTQ. We forgot the T. That's probably why they didn't say anything. The 2269. Got to put the T in there. That way they know it's real. And then you had your phone shut off so they'd stop calling. Yeah, what I like to do is when they call, and you can tell, you pick up the phone, because I'm a boomer. I'm not a boomer, but I am, because I still have a house phone. But you pick up the phone and you wait, and then you hear a click, and you're like, oh, okay, this is a scam. So then you go, oh, I just go like, and then they hang up, and it's great.
Wait, we're not just going to move past this. Why do you still have a house phone?
I don't know.
So you're just pretty much just.
I just haven't gotten rid of it yet. No, it's part of it's part of the package I have with Comcast to get my awesome cable TV and internet. But I also have fiber internet, and I have Starlink too. So I don't know. Maybe I should get rid of the Comcast.
Yeah.
But it has my HBO and all those great stations. But I don't know.
So does the fiber. As
I know.
long as trees don't take it out like mine.
I know. Well, that's the thing. That's why I was like, I got the fiber, and I'm like, okay. And then I got the Comcast to fall back on if the fiber goes down. And then if everything else fails, I can go to Starlink. I don't know. I got to be connected. Plus, I have hurricanes here, so you got to be ready for the hurricanes. I don't know. So let's hear more.
Taxpayer. They stole money from workers who pay taxes, from families who depend on Medicare and Medicaid, and from patients who trusted their healthcare professionals to be serving their health interests when it turns out they were just chasing money from our agencies. The allegations in these cases are particularly disturbing. Some defendants allegedly ordered medically unnecessary tests. Others prescribed products that patients did not need. Some allegedly fueled opioid addiction to increase their own revenue. In certain cases, patients allegedly died while believing they were receiving legitimate medical care from providers who only viewed them as billing opportunities. These defendants did not simply break the law, they violated the trust that patients place in medical professionals. One of today's indictments charged a hospice owner in Los Angeles area and two marketers in a $27.7 million Medicare fraud scheme. According to the indictment, the owner paid illegal kickbacks to obtain personal information of deceased Medicare beneficiaries. One of the ways that Colin and Dr. Oz have been chasing down hospice fraud, we've closed now 800 hospices in LA.
That's a lot of hospices to close. 800.
Look, wasn't it like 80% of all these cases were in California anyway?
Well, the hospice fraud is really bad in California. Then Minnesota is where they're doing this home health care, where it's like they got these different scams everywhere, and it's moved around. Now other people have found out about it. They're finding out they're doing it in Ohio. They're doing it. It's weird. It's where they have these large immigrant populations. It's weird. You know?
Yeah, Minnesota was the Leering Center, right?
Right. Well, they did the feeding the kids thing, which was like $250 million. They, where an Ilhan Omar, I don't understand. Went to jail, yeah. Well, but a white woman's the only one who went to jail. It's crazy, but and she's the one who was like, I told them this looks like fraud, and they said we don't make any judgments about what's fraud. And she's like, okay, so it's crazy. Hey, look at this.
The culpability still, though. I mean, you knew it, and you still went right along with it, though. Did you not, though?
Well, I'm hoping she's going to roll over on somebody. I'm hoping she rolls. Like, somebody knew, like, there's a whole thing, like, was it the Leering Center? It was either the home health care. It was somebody. It was a Feeding Our Future something. One of them, one of the scams that they went to Ellison and said, hey, we've got to get him off our back. We'll, and he's like, it's on tape. They recorded him. And he says, okay, I'll take care of this for you. Then you got to take care of me. And then a week later, they gave him 15 grand or something. It's like, that's a fucking crime, dude. How is he not in jail?
I mean, that was straight up bribery. Yeah, that is corruption on a political scale. But yeah, I think that was the Feeding Our Future Kids thing. Or feeding our kids.
Ilhan Omar filmed her campaign events at the fucking restaurant that was supposedly selling 26 or giving rid of like 26,000 meals a day or 18,000 meals a day, something like some insane number. And she's pretending she's making food for kids that didn't exist. She was like filmed. Here we are feeding the kids. There was no kids anywhere. She's complicit. She should go down.
Oh, 100%. Yes. I guarantee especially after what that holding that was up to $5 million is her net worth, and then all of a sudden there was a rounding error and it's down to like 160,000 or something.
Well, now I think it's negative. They're in negative in the hole now. They have nothing. We owe them money. But hey, look at this. We got a $10 super chat from Low Watermark. What's up, Mark? And if you use email addresses on those other services, you are also stuck keeping them. Yeah, well, that's the thing. You used to be able to, thank you so much for the 10. You used to be able to keep the email addresses, but now it's like it's if you get rid of it, they're like, no, you got 1 year and we're going to cut it off. And we also had a rant too. I forgot. Let me see. We also had a rant over here from CF Rob over on the Rumble. Says they put my dad in hospice, bedridden at home after a diagnosis of Lewy body dementia. I'm not sure what that is. It doesn't sound good though. Rapid dementia. He lived 5 years to 88. Well, that shouldn't have been hospice. That should have just been like a nursing home, not hospice, right?
Yeah, all the way up until the point. Yeah, I mean, rapid dementia, you pretty much lose all sense of yourself. You go senile very, very quickly. That's not hospice. Unless you didn't want him in a nursing home, then yes, that would be hospice care. If that was something they decided themselves.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that sounds like something crazy to me. And then we also got this, $1.99, counting the Bellavision. Well, thank you. All right, so that means we are, let's see, that was $13. Jesus, I hate doing math. This is crazy. So that means that we are $87 away from adding a first additional hour and $37 away from Bellavision. They always make me do math. Lots of math. Thank you. All right. Rant number 2. Oh, okay. All right. How many fake? Okay. That's why my show takes so long. How many of those fake nursing homes were just being used to get rich and ballot harvesting on people that didn't exist? Probably a lot. Probably a lot. That's not too loud, is it? Is that a little loud?
It's loud, but I keep everything at max volume, so I understand it. You know.
All right. Well, no,
being a producer of my own, everything's blaring in my head.
Yeah, but no, I mean, I'm worried about, like, to me, it sounds quiet. That's why I don't understand. Everyone else tells me it's super loud. I'm like, it sounds quiet to me. I don't hear it at all.
It can come down about 10% in volume.
I lowered it a little bit. We'll see for next time.
But,
so that means
I want to throw this out there for Rob. Let's see if Rob. There used to be a website. It still exists. Here's the thing. The Help America Vote Act. What that would allow people to do is you didn't have to show proof of ID. You didn't have to show anything. You could register to vote with the first 4 digits of the last 4 digits of your social security number and your last name. It helps you to register people online, right? That's what it was for. If you go to before you could go to the Social Security Administration's website. In the search bar, look up HAVV. It's the Help America Vote Verification System. That just shows you how many people per week or 2 weeks, depending on how the states actually report, how many tried to register with the last 4 digits of their social security number and their last name for the very first time. We'd called this out a long time. Once every other week, we would talk about this. I'd even show it in my state of Alabama. Tell me how like 5,000 people registered to vote for the very first time and over 50% of them were dead.
It's crazy. There was a whole thing. I pulled it up. This was a while ago.
But now that's gone because you can't look at that information to look for voter fraud anymore.
Yeah, they won't let you look at it. They're saying they're claiming that the government created some kind of unlawful registry or some kind of compiled a database that they weren't supposed to. It's like, what do you mean? This was the whole purpose, was to find out who's dead, who's alive, to track it.
Right. The whole purpose was to see what you were doing with it. So you took the only thing that allowed us. There's also an executive order. It's 14019, which has since been rescinded, that allowed the federal government to register you to vote, knowing or unknowing. Say for about 5 or 6 agencies, the federal government could register you to vote without you knowing. And then you wonder how that signature happened? Well, I said it was illegal. It still could be. I mean, you just walk up to somebody with their paper coming in. Hey, look, sign this person's name. It's your sponsor. Sign this person's name on this sheet of paper. And there's your signature. You could still have that happen, but apparently it's coming from the homeless. So, I mean, when the government's registering you to vote, You see, most of these people, they say, "Oh, the dead people vote." How did half of a weekly registration in my state? How were they dead when they tried to register to vote for the first time? Explain that.
Well, because people go and they get the they get the list of who died and they start registering people. They look for who's not registered and they register them. I mean, that's what's going on. They know this is happening. Like and this is also what's happening is a woman was just found not guilty for legally voting. All right, illegal alien, because well, the guy, there's no proof of this. She just said, "Oh, well, the person told me at the DMV that I was able to register to vote." And they're like, "No, you signed this form. Here's your signature saying you're a U.S. citizen and you're able to vote. You signed it." It's like, well, that's because she told me I could. And it's like, what? And the judge is like, well, there's no proof that she signed it because she renewed her driver's license. Like that was like 2008. And then in 2018, she renewed her driver's license and there was no signature for her for 2018. All they did was renew her registration because she was already registered.
Right.
The judge's like, well, there's no proof that, she didn't vote. And then this time she was registered illegally, but there's no proof she did it. And they let her go. I'm like, what?
Right.
It's insane.
With everything that they pull at any point in time, you've never registered to vote. You never even think about politics. Finally you get that wild hair up your butt and you go to register to vote. And then all of a sudden they tell you, oh, you've already registered. Would that ever raise a red flag in your mind? Because should you know the process at that point?
You should. Definitely. You should.
You should, but do you?
I mean, I know I have to, like, every time in Florida is weird because every time, like, you have to basically re-register every election cycle.
But yeah, I mean, at most times when people get politically active, they don't look into the process. They don't understand the process. They just go through it to just be like, I can do this now. So if it's your first time ever and you go to register to vote and they tell you you're already registered, that would never raise a red flag in anybody's brain. And that's the scary thing.
Well, it wouldn't mind. I'd be like, well, I'm registered to vote. Like,
exactly. If I've never done it before, how am I already registered? And in some states, oh, well, when you get an ID, well, is that or is that not a problem?
I never checked to see if I was still registered to vote in Illinois after, I've been in Florida 10 years. I wonder, actually more than 10 years, 12 years now. I wonder if I'm still, probably still sending ballots out to where every address I used to live at and was registered at, probably. Right. Anyway, I got 4 more donations came in. I got a gifted membership from Spuds. Thank you, Spuds. And then a gifted membership from Brian Ogden. Thank you, Brian Ogden. And then a gifted membership from American Dreamer. Thank you. And then a gifted membership from Brian Ogden again. So that means that's, let's see, 4 times 6 is, what's that, 24.
Oh, my shirt is starting to blend in with the background. I just noticed that. Hold on.
That's all right. I don't mind. And then
I do. It messes with me when that happens. Let me bring this down a bit.
All right.
There we go.
So that means we're 62 away from adding a first additional hour and 12 away from Bellavision.
All right. There you go.
All right. Look at that, guys. It's 12 away from Bellavision. Let's see who got those memberships. I like to, announce the new members of the Gymsomniacs. So, Jonah Finn received a gifted membership from Spuds. And then Natalie Ray received one from Brian Ogden. Wasted Quaker Ranger received one from American Dreamer. And then user MH4KM7N2, what the hell, received one from Brian Ogden. That's weird. Never seen nothing like that before. That's very interesting. All right. I don't want to spend too much time on this. We know about the fraud. I got a whole bunch of stuff I want to talk about. So the fraud sucks. It should stop. And they arrested a bunch of people.
Right.
Let's get on to the next story. All right. This is a good story. This is kind of one of them stories that makes you feel good. Appeals court backs Trump's expansion of speedy deportations. What did I do? Something. Wait, we got. Oh shit. Another one from America First for $6. All right, thank you. And then 10 from Brian Ogden, which actually that's Bellavision then. So.
Yeah.
All right. There we go. So, all right. Let me get first things last. Let me put Bella on the screen. As soon as we find her, there she is.
Go get her.
And then let me do the math here. That's another. Let's see who got the membership. America First. Willow Trees received the gifted membership. Oh, there you go. From America First. And then Brian Ogden's 10. So that's another 16 off of the total here. So that's 52. $46 away from adding a first additional hour to the show. Wow. Thanks, everybody. That's awesome. We're just rolling away tonight. All right. All right. Good. All right. Mm-hmm. Just when you think you got away, they draw you back in. Thanks, Buds. Yeah, that's what they do. That's how they do it. Hey, Noxie, what's up? Good to see you. All right. So appeals court says Trump's expansion of speedy deportations is completely legal, which, hello, you know, who thought it wasn't?
Right.
Yeah. So they said Trump was likely on firm legal footing when its massive expansion of speedy deportations. The appeals court for the District of Columbia erased a lower court ruling that had blocked Homeland Security from expanding what's known as expedited removal to people caught well beyond the border zone. Like the whole thing about this is just as crazy as, oh, if you get past 100 miles or 200 miles or anything like that past, you know, the border, then you're good. It's like you're safe. You're you know, like
right, because that's not federal jurisdiction anymore. That's state.
It's
Which,
nuts.
Yeah, I mean, if you've already crossed that border illegally and they know you're here, they might as well be able to go get you no matter what, no matter where you are, because, I mean, that is federal jurisdiction at that point, though.
It is. And, oh, look at this. Rich got a $5 donation on his channel. There you go.
Look at that. Our first beer money to celebrate deportation arrests. There you go. All right. Yeah. You know what? I'll do it for you. Why not? I was going to wait, but there you go. But yeah, I mean, this is insane. As much as it has come through the border, you know, and dude, you want to see something incredibly messed up?
Always.
You want to know? You want to know what the great replacement theory really is?
Well, I mean, I just been said different things about it, but I mean, like, the Democrats thought that they were going to replace us. Like, at first they thought they were going to replace us with Hispanics and everything. But then when they realized that this is my opinion, when they realized that Hispanics were very actually culturally conservative, you know, and didn't support like gay marriage and didn't support abortion and didn't support all these things. Now they're like, we got to bring someone else in. And so they've made this, these are all my opinions. These are not like, I probably could find some facts to back it up, but now they're doing it with the Muslims for whatever reason. There's like this red-green alliance, the Muslims and the communists. So what do you got here?
Bring my screen up real quick.
All right.
The security check required. It was never download. Screw it. Let's just never mind. It was never about race. It was never about that. From the United Nations' own website, ladies and gentlemen, Population Division, Department of Economic Affairs and Economic and Social Affairs, United Nations Secretariat, replacement migration. Hey, Jim.
Yeah.
What's the date on this paper?
The year 2000, March 2000. Huh.
Okay. United Nations Secretariat, right?
Mm-hmm.
Replacement migration. Is it a solution to a declining and aging populations? In this, what it does is it takes the economic value of, I think it's like 13 different countries at its heyday in the 90s and says, how do you keep this? How do you slowly expand? How do you rapidly expand? What do you do? Now, mind you, okay, we had the baby boomer generation that led up to the Depression because there wasn't enough jobs for everybody. Everybody was relying on the system and the system collapsed because it could not keep up with the amount of people that needed jobs after World War II, right? So that passes on. The next generation isn't as populous as the generation beforehand because people grew up, they didn't make it, of course, but others just were like, you know what, I don't want to have kids. The government was telling you, go to work, you know, be successful in your career before you have a kid. And it was kind of effective. It kind of lowered the birth rate a little bit more, but it wasn't as effective as allowing abortion.
But that's what I'm saying. I don't know. That's what I was going to say. Why you allowed abortion, which you have places like New York, Chicago, LA, where they're killing more black babies than are born alive every year. So
Right.
why?
Well, that's a eugenics thing with that.
Well, that's the
Margaret
thing when you try to
Sanger.
explain to them who Margaret Sanger was and what the whole
Right.
purpose was. Like, there was undesirables that she wanted to get rid of. That's where it all came from. Like this whole thing came from them.
Okay.
And
So
then when you really look into it, we're like, oh, the Nazis. Where did the Nazis come up with all their plans and all their formulas? Oh, they took them from the Democrat Party. But even the Nazis said that one drop rule that the Democrats have for the African Americans, which if you have one drop of black blood, you're black. Doesn't matter.
Right.
I mean, that's serious. I mean, I'm not making it up. That was the
so
Democrats.
apparently I'm black.
Well, I guess if you have one drop, you're black. The
All right.
Nazis actually said, "Well, that's a little too severe for us. We're just going to go if your grandparents are both. If your grandparents are Jewish, then you're Jewish."
Right.
It's like, and I'm not defending anything the Nazis did. I'm saying they took what they did from the Democrats.
It was the same messaging, just tweaked to their favor.
Yeah.
But like I was saying, in this document here, it talks about the peak 1990s values of, okay, it's 10 countries, not 13. But I want you all to take a look at the United States of America. Now, again, this says it's all subjective. It's just something you can follow if you want to or not. We're not forcing you to do this, but this is what you could do. Let me find the United States. It was never on the page that they claim it is. Here it is. Okay. We are between scenario 4 and scenario 5 in this. Now check this out. Scenario 4, we were just almost at 100% on this. The scenario 4 keeps the size of the population, age 15 to 64, the working class, constant at its maximum of 192.5 million that it would reach in 2015, assuming no in-migration after 1995. In order to keep the working age population constant at that level, it would be necessary to have 18 million migrants between 2015 and 2050, which is an average of 513,000 migrants per year. By 2050, out of a total population of 316 million people here in the United States, 25 million, or 7.9%, would be post-1995 immigrants or their descendants. We were riding that line because we were at 419 something million, or 1,000, something around that.
I don't know. They've been letting in, like Biden let in 20 million in 4 years.
Scenario 5 keeps the population support ratio at its 1995 value of 5.2 persons age 15 to 64 for each person age 65 or older. In order to keep the potential support ratio constant at that level of 5.2 people entering and working for every one person aging out, it would be necessary to have 593 million immigrants from 1995 to 2050. At an average of 10.8 million per year.
So that's what they were trying to do. Okay.
By 2050, out of the United States total population of 1.1 billion, the 775 million, or 73%, come after 1995. You have no country.
No, you have no country. And like, what happens with? No one thought. I mean, like, hello, we got automation going on, robots, AI. We're going to have a whole bunch of angry people from the third world that can't work because they can't operate machines. They can't do any of the stuff. It's going to be a problem.
Jim, who's going to work your fields? Who's going to pick your vegetables? Who's going to scrub your toilets?
Machines do all that shit, man. Machines.
No. Until then, we got the immigrants to do it, right? I mean, your illegal slave labor class should be there. That's what keeps the prices low.
Are the prices low when you got all these Democrats raising minimum wage? And like Seattle, basically, they said you have like $20-something minimum wage for people driving DoorDash and stuff like that. So now no one's doing it because you can't afford it. Some lady, like I just watched this John Stossel thing where this lady ordered 3 items from like a Thai takeout. 3 items from Thai takeout was $120. She's like, this is ridiculous. $120 for a simple meal for myself.
Yeah. Because you got to pay minimum wage. Hey, guess what? You raise minimum wage. Do you or do you not make minimum wage effective poverty?
Effectively, that's what you do. And that's the thing. Like, basically, they took like all those jobs that were minimum wage. That's another thing. Like, it drives me nuts. Like, all the jobs that were minimum wage were jobs that we had as teenagers in school.
Yes.
That was the minimum wage jobs. Nobody that graduated high school had a minimum wage job. You didn't. I mean, unless you were okay. Most people didn't have a
unless you
minimum wage
didn't
job.
do nothing with school. All
Yeah,
right?
unless you didn't do nothing, you came out eating paint chips and and then like, yeah, you're gonna, ding, fries aren't done.
I'm sorry, a line cook should not be what you are destined to do for the rest of your life. If that is the case, I do feel sorry for you. And I feel sorry for you only because of absolute pity.
But I mean, but that's the thing. Like what they did was they've expanded and started under Obama. Stuff with Obama, with the rules for Obamacare, they expanded and expanded and expanded the jobs that were minimum wage jobs.
Yes.
I mean, because now it's just like, almost you go like in Florida, there are electricians that are making $20 an hour. And I'm like, what?
Yes. I do low voltage network, and it used to be that you would, entering the field, get 20 an hour. I mean, that would be minimum. And now it's, you start at 12, 15, the faster you learn, the faster you earn kind of situation for most companies. I mean, in my career right now, the most I've made from doing low voltage work is 32.
Really? Well, you're in Alabama, you said, right?
Right.
Well, yeah.
And in Alabama, the cost of living is a lot lower. So
if you were in Chicago in the union, you would be making $64 an hour plus benefit, and then benefits on top of it and everything else.
But you take it all to the point to where I still have the same amount of pay as I'm taking home here.
Right, pretty
and then
much.
My bills are 5 times more expensive. So what's the point?
It's crazy. Well, that's the thing. I say, like, Florida is like they still charge the same amount if you get construction work done. It's not like, oh, it's that much cheaper. Like I had a house built, I've had other stuff built, and it's like, wait, what are you charging me? And I'm like, how much you pay? And it's like, oh, that's how the guys who all run these companies all have, $5 million boats.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I'm working with this company right now, dude. I swear to God, from the time we've been in there, it took them 6 months to figure out we were there in the first place. It also took them 6 months to tell us that they had meetings that we were not attending. You didn't know for 6 months we were there. How? I mean, you're not running your site. Number one, you know how much material I've seen wasted? Stacks of drywall just sitting in puddles of water. Lumber untreated sitting outside in the weather. And then they're just like, oh, we're over budget. We need more money. We need more material. We didn't price it enough. No, you're literally scamming.
Brian says, I remember when $3.35 an hour was minimum wage. I do too. I had one of those jobs. I had a job.
I'm still the young buck. I get it.
And I had one of those jobs in the 80s. That was I was a busboy for $3.35 an hour.
I joined the workforce when it was like $4.25 or something like that.
It's great.
But yeah, this is exactly what the great replacement theory is. And they turned it into something that it's not the racial shit because, oh my God, black people, white people. No, they were just saying you're not going to be
That's what
American
the Democrats
anymore.
said. The Democrats were going around saying, like Scummer and Wasserman Schultz and, Clinton, like the browning of America. We're going to get rid of these, and then like, Obama with his, the white people clinging on to their Bibles and their guns. We're going to die off. It's like, you guys are saying this stuff. And then you get a movie like American, or not American, well, what was it? Like a Citizen Vigilante. It's like,
dude, did you see that?
I did. I watched it last night.
Okay, yeah, because we watched it too. Well, I watched it too. Yeah. I'm gonna be honest with you. It scared the living shit out of me because nowhere in that did I actually disagree, and in every bit of that, I could see myself doing the same. And I was like, oh God.
It could have been a better made movie.
Oh yeah. Some of the scenes were cheesy. Incredibly cheesy.
It's like what they're just like. It was like 5 minutes just showing the Interpol guy driving in his car, just sitting there. I'm like, you're just kind of filling time. But I'm like, when he was talking, saying like, talking about like, oh, you found my fingerprints, you did this. I'm like, who's he talking to?
Right. And then it all makes sense as they stitch it together. I did like that because it was like trying to piece the story together. But yeah, it was a good movie. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah. Germany's like, I want to ban this because it's anti-immigrant, and I'm just like, how is it anti-immigrant? You're sitting there talking about how these people are violating other people, and they're getting away with it, How is that anti-immigrant? Because your laws are not actually protecting these people from this. You're saying they're bad for even saying that. What do you expect anybody to do at that point?
But it's exactly what's going on. It's exactly what happened with the Henry Nowak. I've seen tons of videos and stuff, like the little girl, the Scottish girl that can't get away from me. They attack, and
the craziest thing about that, dude, is the girl that went to jail for that was her sister, for protecting her sister.
Yeah.
But the older sister went to jail for protecting the younger sister. And because she pulled out a weapon, oh my God, we got to lock her up.
It's crazy.
Like the dude was going after her little sister. What are you talking about?
Well, and that's the thing. Like a lot of people don't understand what taqiyya is. This whole thing with the Islam where they're supposed to lie because they're supposed to conquer. It's not like, oh, it's not the religion of peace. That's bullshit. It's not. Like, it was founded on conquering. That was the whole thing. They want to subjugate and conquer the world.
If I'm told to lie, my first lie is going to be I'm peaceful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Being illegal doesn't, no problem. Being illegal doesn't give them any protection from the law. Well, in America, in a lot of places, it does. In a lot of places, it does. So this is Judge Justin Walker, a Trump appointee, he's actually been if I'm not mistaken, this is a guy down in Texas who's done a lot of good stuff on the Second Amendment too. I think he's the guy who, I think he was the bump stock guy.
Justin Walker. I forget.
I think this is unless I'm wrong, I think this is the bump stock guy. But he's like in the I think he's like in the panhandle of Texas. So yeah. So while past administrations have limited their use of power, such as only on people caught within 100 miles of the border, the actual law governing expedited removals allows it to be used quite expansively. That's the thing. They're trying to hold Trump to just what they did. Like, well, you didn't enforce it this way before. Like the thing about the law actually says that anybody who is not basically any illegal alien has to be held unless you parole them. But you don't have to parole them. And so Trump's like, all right, we're just going to hold them. And they're like, no, and then they're like, oh, no, you can't, because the past administrations didn't enforce it like that. They only did it was another thing, only within people that are trying, basically, if they're trying to come into the country and you catch them, you can hold them. But if they get in and sneak in and you catch them, you can't hold them. It's like, right. What sense does that make?
Dude, I'm just going to chill on that one. Because if I say something that, I'll hold my tongue on this one.
No, say it, man. Don't hold your tongue.
No, because I don't want to put anything else at risk for anybody, just in case I go overboard, just kind of letting it go. Yeah. Because I've been known to do it. So, but no, this kind of thing. Are you guys? Can anybody out there really sit here and say that these illegals? Oh, because they add to the system. How much do they take out? Oh, they take out more than they put in. So, what net benefit gain are we talking here?
How are they adding to the system when they're using stolen Social Security numbers, fake IDs? They're not paying taxes. They go, oh, they pay taxes. No, they don't. They claim the max 13 dependents so that they get nothing withheld.
Well, you forgot about state taxes and sales taxes and all those other taxes that they do help with. And that's what they're taxing. And that's what they say they add to. Oh. But from the benefits and everything that these guys get, and most of, what is it? In the Somali community alone, wasn't it like 60% of them? It was
70 to 75% of them are on public benefits.
Right. So they're taking out more than they're putting in just because they're using our money to pay for their things, and we're taxing our money on top of that. What?
Yeah, it's crazy.
But yeah.
Brian's saying you claim 9. I thought it used to be 13 was the max dependence you could claim.
I'm spilling on myself. Look, I got a hole in my mouth.
That's all right. So expedited removal is one of a series of overlapping controls the Trump administration has put in place to seal off the southwestern border. Other prongs include restricting asylum claims and curtailing the use of parole to let immigrants skip usual immigration systems. Well, we don't want that. So under the law, expedited removal can only be used on illegal immigrants who can't prove they've been in the U.S. for at least 2 years. Well, why does that matter? Why is it 2 years? So if they've broken the law for 10 fucking years, then we can't get them out? No. That should be even faster. You've been here how long? They should be just taken to the border and chucked over, out.
Right?
Okay,
you've been here for 2 years. Okay, so we need to find out if we can take you from this country because you've been here for 2 years legally. We need to go through a process, have a hearing. We need to spend more of your taxpayer dollars just to figure out that, yeah, you can go. Because all these asylum claims and everything, wasn't it like it was over 80% of them were being denied?
Well, it used to be 95%. And then they found out that Biden and Obama had put a bunch of asylum people in. There was a lady who was approving, there was a lady that was approving like 90% of the claims. And they're like, this
Right.
is impossible. And they fired her. And then I was like, oh, you can't do it. It's like, no, actually they can't. I said, look, like the one good thing, not the one, there's many good things the Trump administration has done, but one of the great things is that they are taking back the power of the president. Like the president, anybody who works for the executive branch works for the president. There is no executive branch without the president. The Constitution is very clear. There is one executive branch. There's a president, and he's the executive branch. So anything in there is the president. And what really need to happen is these courts need to get reined in. Courts have taken way too much power. Congress has refused to if Congress refuses to exercise its authority, that's on them. The courts can't step in and go, well, this is no. Congress, that's not. The courts are supposed to be, courts are supposed to be the weakest part of our government, not the strongest. Right now, they're the strongest. They decide everything. You've got judges, you've got basically out of the 470 judges, any one of them is more powerful than the president. No.
Apparently. They can tell the president you can't do whatever you want to do just because my feelings got hurt. I'll put it nicely. But yeah, it's insane to think. And they are, these lower court judges, like I say, they are the janitors of the federal judicial system. And they take on the crap that they're supposed to weed away all the way up until the Supreme Court. So tell me how a janitor is telling the CEO of another company how they can do their job.
Well, they shouldn't be able to. And a lot of people get it twisted and they go, oh, well, they're a co-equal branch. No, the co-equal branch is the Supreme Court. All these other courts, the immigration courts, the district courts, the appeals courts, the magistrates, the IRS court, there's copyright court. Those are all inferior courts. They're created by Congress. Congress decides what they can rule on and what they apply the statutes and the Constitution, but they are subservient to the Supreme Court, Congress, and the executive branch. They are not equal to anybody.
Right.
And that's like saying like one justice on the Supreme Court is not co-equal to the president or Congress. All 9 of them, or however many, there has to be a majority of them, and then they are equal to the other branches.
Do you remember when Trump was running the second term? It was weird to every single person why they kept asking him, will you abide by all court orders no matter what?
Oh, yeah, that was weird. Like, why? First of all, he doesn't have to abide by a court order if it's illegal.
Now you know why. The legal the legal warfare that we've been seeing.
Yeah.
And when these things started happening, I was like, that's why Kristen Welker wouldn't let it go. Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Okay.
Well, that's why Boasberg met with, John Roberts, was he on Epstein's plane? I don't know. There's rumors that there was a John Roberts that flew on Epstein's planes a bunch. Boasberg, was hanging out with other people, doing things, other stuff. He's around places. But anyway.
Can we just admit we're never going to get the real truth out of that?
Well, the thing is, I don't know why Trump didn't just let it all hang out. Was he worried that people were going to find out he was the rat? He was the one who snitched on Epstein? I mean,
that just would demolish any claim that they had that you were involved in the first damn place. Yeah. Did you know? The only thing they could argue is you knew it was going on and you waited till they started investigating, which would have been my only complaint as well. Again, you knew this was happening and you didn't say shit until the federal government was investigating. I mean, how, dude? You know he's violating children and you just let it go?
That whole thing, I don't understand it. I really don't. But it's not laid on Trump's lap like somehow because of this guy was around. This guy was involved in everything. This guy was involved in government shit going back to the 70s and early 80s. He was involved in, the Iran-Contra stuff he's involved in. He's involved in Air America. He's involved in what else is he involved? Like everything. You name it, like arms deals. That's what he was a facilitator in arms deals. That's where his money came from. That's how it happened. Got a couple more rants again. What is going on here?
But I mean, if that was their actual messaging, it would have been more effective than their messaging that they had. When that came out and it was just like, oh yeah, he was the first one to actually contact the FBI. Okay, so you knew this was happening and you said nothing? What a POS. That would have been a better messaging than what you gave.
Yeah. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't know what happened. I don't know if that was bad advice. I think some of it was Pam Bondi, because I believe, if I'm not mistaken,
100%.
Pam Bondi was involved. Like, she was part of the office that originally prosecuted Epstein. Like, she wasn't in charge of it, but she was like the local office in Florida. She was part of that local office.
Right.
So anyway, so CF Rob for 2 says, honestly, if there is enough benefit, it's to the criminal Democrat votes, the demon rat votes. Thank you. And then Spud says, history has shown us that when the criminal justice system fails, we, the people, of vigilante justice system eventually takes its place. Thank you. And that's $3 now, means we are now $43 away from adding a first additional hour to the show. Make me do my chores didn't work. Bella is adjusting to Rich's accent. She's used to good logic. Ah, yes. Previous presidents restricted it to people who came to the U.S. by certain means, such as boats or certain places, such as those caught within 100 miles. Yeah, but doesn't mean Trump has to, just because someone else did it.
Yeah.
DHS erased the 100-mile limit. Good. Immigrant rights group sued, saying illegal immigrants in the interior had due process rights that were being denied by expedited removal. First of all, the Supreme Court has long held that it is not a punishment to be deported. You have no legal right to be here. It's not a punishment. You have no property rights to stay in the country.
Right.
That's the basic bottom line. Like, you can't illegally search them and stuff, but I don't know. They better fix this birthright citizenship thing. That's all I know. If they don't fix this, we're screwed.
Aren't they supposed to be going?
Should be tomorrow or
soon,
Thursday. Thursday, I think, is when they're supposed to.
Yeah. That's when it's supposed to be. They could drop it later on because it may be an extended session kind of thing. But aren't they supposed to recess for a while, not too long from now?
Well, no, they're never they go on vacation, stuff like that in the summer, but they still are doing stuff. There's still somebody around. If some emergency happens, they can take care of it. But, Clarence Thomas likes to get into his RV and drive around the country. And
I have noticed that the most consequential of the decisions has always come right before they do those things, right after the Dobbs decision was leaked.
The Dobbs decision was purposely held back by the left. They were hoping, and this is the sad, they were hoping somebody would get killed and that it would flip. That's what they were hoping for. There's a whole article written about it, like with Kagan went in screaming at Breyer. I think it was Breyer. Yeah, Breyer telling him, you can't, what are you doing? Because someone like Alito or someone went to him and said, we're getting threats and this is going on. This was before they tried to kill Kavanaugh.
Right.
Like they knew, it was another one too that came out about it, which was the Calais decision. And Alito called him out on it and said, we knew about this in November, our decision. And he's like, so you tried to delay it. And so it took you 6 months to write your dissent.
Right.
Basically, don't say this is a last minute thing, because this could have been done a lot earlier. You're the one who's held it up.
Oh, yeah. But in that whole thing, though, I want to run something by you. That leak was the only one that has ever happened in Supreme Court history, correct?
I believe so.
Okay. Wasn't it at the time when Ketanji Brown Jackson was nominated but hasn't taken a bench yet? Well, hadn't taken a seat.
I don't know if she was nominated yet. It was probably it wasn't Breyer, and it wasn't, more than likely wasn't his clerks. It was probably either Sotomayor or Kagan's clerks.
I want to point the finger at Ketanji, and I'll tell you why. It's the only leak that has ever happened, so if anything comes up and they find out about it, she did not take the bench at that point in time. It would not have actually spoiled the Supreme Court or soiled them in any way because she was not a sitting member at that point in time.
So your theory is maybe that she leaked it hoping one of the white guys would get killed, and then she could take their place instead of Breyer and swing the court.
Has she not been an activist the entire time?
Total activist. Even the other two have called her out a couple times and been like, this is, she's been like,
whether trying to get somebody to cause an incident or not. I wouldn't even go that far. I would just say it would be It would be kind of a thing to cause an uproar, which we have seen from the Democrat Party. However, it would not smear the Supreme Court because she was not an active member of the court at that time. So if anything were to come out and they were to say, oh, even after she took the bench, oh, you were the one that leaked this? Okay, so we got to get you off the bench. The Supreme Court still comes out looking like a bed of roses.
Yeah.
Because she wasn't an active member at the time.
That's the sad thing. There is no way you're going to be able to impede. Like I could see some of these squishy rhino scums like Murkowski or Collins or someone like that, or even like Tillis or Cassidy or Cornyn siding with the demon rats to get rid of, a right-leaning judge. But never are you going to find a Democrat, a demon rat, to side, with what's blatantly like. This woman who got caught fucking a police lieutenant or commander in her chambers and then lied about it to everyone, including the feds. Yeah. All right. Nothing is going to happen to her. She should be in jail. All right. Or better yet, at least off the court. But no, it's going to still be there. Like she lied, and they're like, all these people are lying. And someone's like, no, here's a video I recorded of her getting bit, and you can hear the video, and you can hear her getting railed inside the office. Right. And the FBI's like, okay, well, we're going to take the couch cushions, we're going to get them tested for DNA. And then she's like, okay, maybe we did screw around in here, but it was only like once or twice, and I didn't know anybody could hear me.
But again, it's a question I asked Rob, and it's a question I've asked a lot of legal YouTubers. What checks the judges?
It's supposed to be Congress.
When you have, let's say, a judge in your
the Supreme Court, technically, the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court could suspend a judge. He could say, like, nope, you overreached, you did something wrong. They could suspend. They basically, would be the same because they are underneath the Supreme Court.
So it takes an act of Congress to step in when a judge is going overboard.
If the Supreme Court won't do it.
And the Supreme Court ain't going to do it because the Supreme Court has always had to have been pushed into making a decision.
Yeah. If a magistrate judge fucks up, a district court judge above him can step in and say, no, you can't do that, and take care of it. If a district judge steps in, technically the chief judge of that district, that circuit, is supposed to take care of it. But they don't because everything is political. And then the Supreme Court should be stepping in. Like these judges like the judge of Boasberg who did that shit when they told him you can't do this. You have no authority to stop them from deporting these people. And then he tried to go and do an end run, like contempt hearing for the Tren de Aragua people, different stuff. Like the Supreme Court should have said, you're suspended.
Yes.
We told you twice already.
Yes.
But they didn't.
Why?
I don't know. Because
they'd rather make decisions and then disappear.
The biggest threat to people saying that we have a legitimate justice system is the courts themselves and the shit they're doing.
Right.
I mean, they're the ones to blame. Like people go, oh, we got to try. No, you don't know. Like you should be able to look at a trial before it happens and see all the facts. Like he's got the facts. You should be like, okay, this guy's innocent. Like this guy should be found innocent. This guy should be found guilty. You know what I mean? You should be able to look at all the facts and know ahead of time. It shouldn't be like, oh, what's going to happen here? You never know how the judge is going to rule or what the judge is going to say. And
can we take a quick sidebar real quick?
Sure.
Let me ask you a question. Have you seen the new Rumble Creator Program stuff?
I haven't looked really into it that much.
Okay. So I really don't have a problem with it other than the fact that they're mandating shorts be used now.
Really?
Yeah. Live chatters has increased from 20 to 75. Look, even on our small channel, our viewers blow that out the water. Within a stream or two, we've already got the live chatters down. Hours watched within the first week, we usually hit 200. But it's being increased to 500. And moving from shorts being a bonus to a requirement. And now shorts, they put out 20 shorts must be generated via the clipping tool in Rumble Studio. And then come back and said, no, you can just upload them. But you still have to do the shorts.
I don't know. Like from what I understand, the more people that use the Rumble Creator Program, the less everybody's cut is.
Yes.
It's just a pot of money that gets divided up the number of people that qualify, and depending on what your views are and stuff, that's how they divide it. So it's like, do I really want to waste my time? Because honestly, I don't know why I don't do well on Rumble. I don't.
Well, we do. We get most of our traffic on Rumble. Honestly, because we pulled our YouTube crew over to Rumble. But we get most of our traffic from Rumble itself. The short requirement, look, I don't like doing shorts. It's a lot of fucking work for very little return on any platform, especially on Rumble, because shorts on Rumble don't really go anywhere. I've had one pop off after everything that I've done for the creator program. I had one pop off.
I've uploaded some shorts. I use the StreamYard thing to automatically generate shorts, and then I'll look at them, and if I see a short that looks good, like I'll watch them all, and I'm like, oh, that one looks good, I'll do it. But like, I've gotten like nothing on Rumble. I don't think anyone's ever seen any of my shorts I've put on Rumble. YouTube, every once in a while they'll blow up. I'll get like one that'll have like 10 or 15,000 views, and I'm like, oh, that's amazing. But what did I get? Like 35 cents. So it's like, oh, whatever. But like TikTok is like, people kept telling me, go TikTok for your shorts, put them on TikTok. I've gotten so many strikes on TikTok for stuff that's like, what is going on? What are you talking about? It's YouTube's fine. Everyone else is fine. But TikTok's like, oh no, you can't put this on there. I'm like,
dude, you want to hear something wild about TikTok? I used to mess with it back in the day too, right? And then there was people like just getting banned left and right. Some people were getting to the point to where if their face or voice showed up on something, they didn't even have to be part of it, right? It wasn't even their account. If their face or voice showed up, that was automatically banned. I was testing that because I started to become one of those people. I created an account where all I was doing was taking screenshots of articles and putting them over music and watching people in the chat just like, wait a minute, they were saying this just the other day. That's all I was doing. I got hit with authenticity and integrity, which you can't actually hit with on Rumble or not on TikTok. I was getting hit with all kinds of crazy things, and then all of a sudden, just to test it, this account ran for like 3 months, dude. And then all of a sudden, I just put my face on there one time, and I said at the end, "It's time we talk." Instantly banned.
wow.
Yeah, and I was just like, "Yep, I see it right there."
But I don't get, I don't get it. I don't understand it. And I'm like, it's not even worth it to me, because it's like this whole thing they're trying to drive, their same thing. They're trying to drive you to use their system. They want you, like, you have the only way to make money on TikTok is to actually use TikTok Studio to make things. If you don't use TikTok Studio, you can't make money.
Right.
That's it.
Which
I'm
is
like,
the
I'm
way
not
Rumble's
using other
kind of
systems.
trying to go.
So, I don't know. But some of the stuff on TikTok is crazy that they get away with. There's people making threats. There's people doing all this stuff, doing drugs and shootings and all this stuff, and that's fine. But you talk about politics, and they don't want to hear it. But anyway, I forgot. I said it and I didn't show it, but I mean I talked. But this the super chat from Spuds that's for $1. I credited it, but I didn't read it. He says history has shown us that when the criminal justice system fails, we the people, a vigilante justice system, eventually takes its place. Yes, that's what that movie was all about.
Once, look, the left and right are arguing. They're literally pissed about the same things right now. The only problem we have is we are still blaming each other for what happened. What happens when that animosity goes away?
I don't know. Well, the problem is the far left wants communism. They think that's the solution. They're idiots, and it's
Put
like
them
that's
on the front line.
But
and
then,
fight for your belief. All right.
I just don't know. Like, I don't know, like, what happened to Candace Owens. Like, this whole
Candace Owens has always been that person.
Well, that's the thing. Like, she's always been a leftist. Like, if you look at her history and everything, it's like she's always been this leftist. Her whole thing was that social autopsy thing that she started out with, and so like basically she figured out, like, I can't make money doing this now. I have to come over to this side. And now she's making her way back to the other side. That's the way I look at it. Like, but she, like, I don't know.
She's doing this. Now, people are trying to make excuses for this, but this is the way she has always been. Look, her first foray into the public life was suing her college because her and her white boyfriend broke up. And she started making scenes where he would actually start talking to the campus police to keep her away from him. And then she started going around saying that he's creating a campaign of racial hate against her. She sued the school, and the school's just like, you know what? Instead of dragging it out in court, here's $60,000. Go away. And she learned. Then the social autopsy thing popped up, and she literally told you she flipped her political views overnight, and everybody started to eat up what she was saying. The only difference now from what she's saying from what she's saying now as to what she was saying then, is there was somebody else there to say you can't say that to a conservative audience.
Mm.
And she literally, when she came on to the Daily Wire, she was their attack dog. She was a black woman. She was conservative. She was black. She was a woman, and she was conservative. At the same time, those two things you couldn't question, except for conservatism.
Yeah. Well, yeah, no, but that's just like that. What's her Ashley St. Clair? Everybody thought she was going to be the next great thing, and she turned out to just be another leftist fucking grifter who wanted something. And the first thing she's like, "Oh, if I get this billionaire to impregnate me, I'm going to get paid for the rest of my life." And now she's mad because he's not giving her enough money, I guess, or something. Not enough.
Did you see the hoodie she gave us on Piker?
Yeah. Oh my god.
I'm not the dad. I'm not the stepdad. I'm the dad that stepped up. Like, yeah, what? Man. That's the first time you see him, and that's what you do? Come on, that's creepy.
It's super creepy. It's super creepy. But she's that's the definition of a gold digger.
Yeah. There are some things that I know on the inside about these things that she's been that way for a minute.
Here from your buddy Wes Downer.
15 miles on the Erie Canal. That's what I'm talking about. Isn't there a song about that?
I think so. It's like there was all types of songs because when they made. I mean, think about that. Think about those canals that got dug, like the Erie Canal, the Panama Canal, all this stuff around the world that certain group of people, let's say, I mean, maybe I don't know, maybe the work might have been done by other people, but it was all planned out by a certain group of people. And now all of a sudden we're supposed to believe that we're the idiots and we can't do anything.
I mean, we designed the plans that somebody else followed, right? Yeah, we can't swing that hammer. No, we can convince you to do it. I mean, come on.
So have you seen this Judge Gia Cobb?
No.
A Biden appointee? Oh, she's a sorority sister of both Kamala Harris and Fannie Willis. Whatever. Not Delta Tau Chi. That's from Animal House, but I don't know. Whatever it is, Delta or something. I don't know. Whatever.
Why? Why is it always the same individuals?
Because it is. You got a milestone, Chad. You guys gave you a $1.49 super sticker.
What we got? I got the salty sticker.
So he kind of looks like James Woods. If he took his glasses off, he could pass for James Woods.
Yeah. Wes is a good old man who has some things just like me he needs to say sometimes.
Yeah. So this Judge Gia Cobb, a Biden appointee, says that the migrants in the interior deserve more than a skimpy deportation process. She pointed to one study that found 50% of people in expedited removal had tried to spark asylum claims but didn't get the chance to make them. So they were here and they waited and they didn't ask for the asylum claims. Like, why is it that they have a certain amount? Like they have like a year to make an asylum claim. It's like, why do they need that? They should be making the asylum claim like. I thought they were supposed to make it in the first safe country they went into. So how did they make it to the United States? Because Mexico is allegedly a safe country. Canada is allegedly a safe country. Where else were they?
Mm-hmm. They're snatching people up from their immigration hearings. Okay, so you're telling me these people are coming into America, they're claiming asylum after they get caught, and we're supposed to adhere to it? Like, when does that ever happen? I mean, if I go rob a store, I can't claim asylum or run up in my house and the police not chase me, Mm-hmm. But they apparently they think they can get away with it with this immigration thing because they run up in people's houses all the time. And you need a warrant.
Because they keep telling people it's not criminal, it's civil. No, it is criminal. It's just handled. Congress can design how these laws work, and they said that immigration, because they have less rights because it's immigration. It's not like, it's not, the Supreme Court has held that being deported is not a punishment. So it's not
isn't running from the cops in any form illegal though anyway?
Yeah, it is.
So if you're running from the cops, you're illegal.
But they tried to, the leftists twist it and said, being illegal is not a crime. Yeah, being present in the country illegally is a crime. It's just, we handled it like a misdemeanor where it's like immigration court.
Right. But it's also like trying to take all those legal immigrants that have come over here that are in good standing and try to conflate them with the ones that are illegal in committing crimes. Because if you don't like the illegal that are committing crimes, you definitely want to get rid of the legal that are actually doing it correct. I mean, none of it ever makes sense from these people. I listen to hearings all the time in their entirety. And the left either A, never stays on point, B, screams orange man bad, or the C, everything's racist. That's the only argument they ever have. That's it. What are they? I mean, what is the Democrat Party actually offering the people this go around? What did they eat for the last 5 elections?
Bad. Trump's bad. That's all it is. Trump's bad. Trump's bad. That's all they have.
Yeah, I don't understand how people can just continue to go through this. You do realize there is an entire generation of people that have now grown up with this Trump derangement syndrome, for the lack of a better term.
Pretty much, yeah.
We've gone through this for 10 years. Those that were 8 years old when he came down the escalator, and guess what? They're now voting.
What's to say? I got kick bounties. I got 500 subs on the line. If you need content for the next 20 minutes, download Mecha Chameleon and win around. I'm good. Anyway, so did you hear about this story that the U.S. fighter pilot that was shot down by Iran described alarming jellyfish drones before the crash like real alien shit, he says.
Yeah, I kind of skimmed through this. You sent it my way, and I was reading about this. It is a terrifying thought.
What the Iranians have better tech than we do? That's pretty terrifying.
I mean, the drone swarm capability that they have now. Okay,
I thought they just had these Shaheed drones that are basically like a propeller. I thought what I've seen.
It's a winged propeller. Yeah,
it's a winged propeller. It's like a lawnmower.
It costs them $50,000 to make. They can launch millions of them at a time, while you're using $1 million rockets to shoot them down.
Yeah.
That's what they're for. But I will say this. This is interesting, and I love pointing this out to people. You remember the New Jersey drone swarm that everybody was freaking out about?
Yeah.
Okay, you remember how Trump took office and then everybody was asking about him and he was just like, nah, it's ours. Don't worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden we see drone swarms start popping up at our military bases. If you were trying to keep your military on ready for something like that, wouldn't you false flag attacks yourself? I mean, every time this has happened, the military's just been like, you know what? Don't worry about it. Move along. Nothing to see here. I mean, to me, it sounds like they're trying to keep them ready.
Well, the way I look at it is I remember in the 80s and 90s, like mainly the 80s, when we had all these triangle-shaped UFOs that they were talking about, seeing them all over the place.
And now they're
triangle-shaped
everywhere.
they were everywhere. They're triangle-shaped UFOs all over the place in the 80s. And then all of a sudden it was revealed, during, like in the late 80s, right before Desert Storm, that we had this F-117 Black Hawk that looked like a diamond flying through the sky. That was
incredible speed.
Yeah, incredible speed. It's like, oh, I guess that's what they were seeing, and no one wants to admit it, because then that just stopped. After everyone knew about that plane, they didn't talk about those diamond-shaped things anymore, or the same thing with the B-2 bomber, so I think that's what it's like. But the question is now, what's going on? Like, are these things that we have, like, I don't know if you saw the video that was leaked by a guy claiming it was surveillance footage of that MH-370 with the three things circling it, and the plane just goes and disappears. Like, I don't know, supposedly, I don't know, I believe it, but I don't know, I'm not going to say it's true, but I mean, facts to me line up. The guy who leaked it went to prison. He was a captain in the Air Force. They have numbers on there which are like, well, this is from this surveillance drone, and this is from this satellite, and this is from this. And so, why were 3 separate surveillance platforms monitoring that plane? That's the first question that comes to my mind. Like, why would we be tracking a civilian plane anyway, at all, let alone with 3 separate platforms?
Fair enough with that one. And then all of a sudden it just blinks
out of existence. Yeah. It's like, it didn't explode. It just blinked out of existence. It's like weird. You're like, oh, it's fake. Well, why did the guy go to jail for leaking it if it's fake? That's the question that I ask.
It's almost like A, you were planning for this to happen, and B, he goes to jail for leaking something that's fake. That's kind of like the dude that went to jail for leaking the Russia-Ukraine fighting, the report, where they were like, every bit of this is true except for the death count. That's the only thing that was altered in that, and that's what he's going to jail for, because he faked the death count. But seriously, man.
You're right, Miss Hacker. The Erie Canal was about mules. They used to use mules to pull the barges. Like, that's the thing. Like these early canals, because it's the easiest way to transport heavy heavy loads is across the water because buoyancy and floats. You don't have wheels. Before there was like semis and different stuff. I mean, it's still cheaper actually now to transport things by boat as long as there's a quick route to get it there. That's why everything's shipped instead of flown, or when you can, you put it on a boat rather than on a truck or a plane.
And that's why the Strait of Hormuz is actually really important right now.
Sounds like
80% of
our government
all
tells the truth. They're supposed to tell us the truth. If they would just go back to that Hart Cellar, isn't it? Hart Cellar that they got rid of, where the government can lie to us now.
Oh, you're also talking about the speech and debate clause too. So I mean, that's been used and abused. It's not to have our representatives straight up lie to our faces, and it's okay. That's not what it's intended to do. It's intended for people like me not to sue them because they might have gotten a little bit of information wrong and they spoke it to the world.
But that's
what it's intended for, not to sit
and
there
that's
and
been
lie about
bastardized by lower courts too, because like what happened with the kid, what was his name? The Covington kid with the Indian. Remember the Indian? I'm like,
yeah.
And then all of a sudden,
Nick
all these
Sandman?
people went on Nit Sandman, yeah. And then he got basically defamed by Liz Warren and all these other people, and not on the floor, but out talking to people. And he tried to sue, and they're like, "Oh no, speech and debate clause." It's like, no, bullshit, man. Speech and debate clause does not apply to stuff they're saying out here.
Right.
Especially when then they said that Trump wasn't protected by any type of immunity being president, when he said this stuff about the crazy broad that paints her trees and talks. Anyway.
But SCOTUS did rule that the government can lie to you as long as it is in the service or as in the capabilities of their service. However, it has gone from being in hearings and being on the floor, arguing these things before a vote. It has gone from just that to now, if anybody says this is Rep so-and-so, you're covered. As soon as you were announced as senator or representative, you were in official duty. So if anybody on our news platforms that they say, "Hey, I'm talking to Senator so-and-so," and they straight up lie, they're covered under the speech and debate clause. It's insane. But yeah.
So here, this is
more violent than ejecting out of a fighter jet aircraft. There's nothing on the planet that comes even close. The most violent experience of your life, period.
A seriously wounded U.S. Air Force colonel was rescued after ejecting from his shot-down fighter jet over Iran. Despite his injuries, the F-15E weapons officer evaded capture for 36 hours behind enemy lines after punching out. What many people don't realize is that ejection can be a shockingly violent and even deadly procedure that wreaks havoc on the body.
Well, yeah, they have to get
5Gs.
They have to get you away from the plane. That is, so they have to shoot you with rockets away from the plane.
You're right. You're doing Mach Jesus and have to get away faster than Mach Jesus. All right. Yeah, I get it.
Potentially shrinking a pilot's height by up to 2 inches. But why is ejecting from a fighter jet so traumatic? We spoke to a former Top Gun pilot to break it down.
My name is Matthew Buckley. My call sign is Wiz. I flew the F-18 Hornet for the United States.
Is his name Wiz because he liked to pee on stuff?
I mean,
Navy for
some of these windows did open. I wouldn't expect any service member not to take that opportunity.
They like to joke around too. He says, "You have my number if you need hospice." Well, thank you. Thank you so much. With that, too, now we're down to $41 away from adding a first additional hour to the show. Thank you so much.
What up, Liberty? Did Davey morph into it? But no, this is Jim Tells You. Davey and his wife came to an agreement that, yeah, he has to spend some time with this kid. So Mondays and Tuesdays are my kind of days. So yeah, we are with Jim today, just kind of co-streaming on both sides, just having fun talking.
Yeah, we've been planning to do it for a while. I just haven't been able to make it happen. And then today I was like, oh, you know what? I'll just see if he wants to do it today.
Yeah, it was a perfect time to do so. But yeah.
Anyway, a pilot who was rescued after his plane was shot down gave a chillingly recalled being swarmed by Iranian drones that moved together in unison like a jellyfish formation. Multiple drones interconnected and moving as one with smaller drones below the bigger ones like legs. Like that sounds like the Chinese stuff that they have when they do like the drones to make like the designs in the sky. So those are like Chinese technology, like that they use for like fire, like light displays and stuff where they have. But I don't think those, I don't think they have bombs, but that maybe they could put some explosives on them, I guess.
I mean, it wouldn't be that hard.
real alien shit. He says, well, I don't know, because I see that stuff in China. So the pilot shared the alarming encounter and detailed in a debriefing with intelligence officials in April, which could indicate that Iran has significantly increased its military drone capabilities. Well, yeah, they got it from China.
Well, hold on. Iran was building drones for China. China bought them up. China did not field them. Iran blew through their stockpile. And the Strait of Hormuz is actually really important to China. They did have somewhat of a strategic control against them. Why not give them back what they built? The Shahed drones were built by Iran in the first place.
But I don't think these could be the Shahed drones, though. That's what I'm saying. Like the Shahed drones, I don't like the Shahed drones. They were giving them to Russia too, but I don't think these are Shaheeds. The Shaheeds are basically like I don't, maybe not a lawnmower motor, but probably more like a weed whacker motor or something.
Fair
spinning
enough.
a propeller.
They do still have to move in a forward motion, I guess.
But that's what I'm saying. But they just have a propeller and a wing. That's all it is. It's like it's very cheap. It's not like
If these are hovering, I guess these wouldn't be the Shahed.
That's what I'm saying. The hovering ones, that's like the Chinese stuff that you see, like the China's been doing. Like they'll have like they did it. I want to say when Biden or Trump went to China, they did like a whole thing up in the sky where they made these light shows and they move them in lights to make like designs and stuff in the sky, basically like light designs.
A good point with that. Yeah, I that is more. I mean, they were using AI to keep them locked into formation like that. So if you're seeing a jellyfish in the sky, I would not say that is Iran capability.
Yeah, no, that's China, and we know too that the jet that was shot down over Iran was shot down with a shoulder-fired, manpad, which was right after, for some reason, they allowed China to send in 4 plane loads full of equipment, which probably contained those manpads. Which then Trump said, "Oh, we know they have them," and we told them not to give them to them, and they didn't. It's like that's how they shot the fucking plane down, was a manpad.
But yeah, this would be. Imagine, look, you guys haven't seen the drone capabilities we have. Well, you have, but you haven't really seen it in action. Again, think back to the New Jersey thing. Okay, all these drones just started showing up out of nowhere, and then all of a sudden we got this report of right there off the coastline, there's something that is not on our radar, and then all of a sudden 50 drones just pop up out of it and scatter in different places. Yeah. And then the government tells you that's us, nothing to see here. We're seeing them field these drones on a massive scale. There was a report where there was an attack on a base, and the drones were unjammable. That does not sound like Iran or even China.
Well, they're using a lot of them now are using the fiber optic drones that have surprisingly a lot further range than you would think. They have a super thin piece of fiber optic basically to control them, and then like if you've seen the video of like some of those Ukrainian towns that just look like spider webs all over everything it's like, oh, that's how they get rid of it. But
but we're not seeing that though. We're not seeing that laying anywhere as far as that goes.
Yeah, like the drones that I know about that I like from the time when I was in the military, like the Global Hawks, the Reapers, and stuff like that, which like they were using those for like they're very expensive drones. Like Reapers are $9-12 million a piece or something like that. The Global Hawk is something like $35-50 million a piece. And that's the one that sits up there basically like a dark star and just tracks everything, and they can sit up there for like 2-3 days and monitor the battlefield, map where everything is, and
but they're usually either strategic or offensive. I think what we're about to see from us is more defensive and electronic warfare.
Yeah,
like jamming in areas, sending out a huge drone swarm just to black out the radar before our planes move in, because our Air Force is still badass. We are the best around the world, apparently, still to this day. So you go in there and you use a drone swarm to black out radar, everybody becomes effectively stealth at that point, right? Now, how do you stop this? Because here in America, the only thing we can do is targeted EMPs or a giant net.
Yeah. I don't know. Like Gundam says, we found out really early in Ukraine that our battlefield drones were over-engineered, overpriced, and underwhelming flops. Well, yeah, like we have very few of those small, like like the guys, like battlefield launch drones that the guys launch. I don't think like we were just starting to get into that. Like,
I think our capabilities, what we are really capable of, is leaps and bounds against every other country as far as drone capability. And I think that's why China is actually pushing towards AI, because we've probably used AI to develop this technology way above and beyond what everybody's already seen. And it scares the ever-living crap out of me, but at the same time, I'd rather it be in our hands than anybody else's.
Aren't you a little worried about Skynet?
I'm more worried about Elon Musk.
I'm not. I don't know.
I am.
I don't know.
I see that dude as the banality of evil. Yeah, he's trying to do good, but what did he prove with Twitter? With enough money, you can buy out anything. Yeah. Okay, so he develops Neuralink. He gets read-write capabilities happening. The Starlink is, they have government contracts going on with all of that. Oh, the government just comes in, eminent domain, take everything, and all of a sudden they have read-write access through Starlink straight into your brain.
Yeah.
You scare the ever-living hell out of me, because what stops that from happening?
Well, the government does have, there's like two separate systems. There's Starlink, and then there's another one that's a separate military one that people don't talk about, which is the one that they use, like basically that they were giving Ukraine, and that the government, like in basically, and that's
when they snuck into
Iran too. Yeah,
Iran, yeah.
Iran, yeah. But they, it's called something else. It's not called Starlink. It's called something else, like Star Shield or something like that. It's like it's the same system, but it's basically like military, different hardware stuff, whatever. Encrypted. So, but like, there's rumors that that's how they stopped the Ukraine. When the Ukrainians were doing stuff they didn't want the Ukrainians to do, they would just shut that off on them and be like, all right, now you can't talk.
Right.
And that's how they basically controlled them.
But in that case, with the Iranian situation, hey, good on you. Yeah, because that media blackout could have actually turned awful for us as citizens, not knowing what's going on. All they had to do was just tell us, hey, it's this. No, it's this. And we don't really know the truth anymore. So yeah, I applaud him for that. But that dude scares me, because he's doing all these things supposedly to help humanity, but in any given moment it could be ripped away from him and weaponized.
So according to CNN, it's not clear if the weapons officer witnessed Iranian drones. Intelligence officials have been debating what to make of the pilot's account and whether he remembered the incident clearly after suffering a concussion in the crash. A Starlink is Star Shield. Okay. They just have a different name for it for the military then? It's probably the same, uses all the same stuff. It's just they call it something else.
It's just a higher level of encryption that hasn't been cracked yet.
The same pilot had been involved in a friendly fire incident in Kuwait on March 2nd, in which Kuwait's forces accidentally fired on 3 F-16 jets. All 6 crew members were forced to eject. So this is the second time he's had to eject?
Yep. Yep.
During a rescue operation, a helicopter was also struck by small arms fire. That looks like a wing from a drone, right? One of them Shahidis. Oh, that's a piece of the F-35 that was shot down?
Yeah.
The search for the weapons officer, who had a $60,000 price on his head, was more difficult and dramatic, involving SEAL Team 6, CIA ruse, a forward airstrip, all this other stuff, which people were trying to say at the time. Remember, like, oh no, they're going after the uranium. It's like, no, they're not going. That would take weeks to get weeks to months to get the uranium out. It's not like a quick thing. After you blew up all the stuff, you can't just go and grab it. It's not like sitting there in a suitcase. You just walk in. No, you got to get heavy machinery and all this stuff to dig. It's like, you people are nuts saying this stuff like, no, they're planning on it going. It's like, no, what are you, stupid?
Well, there were reports about them actually taking things out of that not too long after the strike. So maybe the whole claim of we get enough to make 11 bombs is actually correct.
Maybe. Like, and that's like too, like people, oh, they didn't enrich it enough to make the bombs. That's not true. They didn't enrich it enough to make small bombs, to put on like a missile, but they enriched it enough to make a big ass bomb,
or a whole bunch of dirty ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's Joe's saying? Star Shield is Space Force, UAT 222, same thing as Starlink, but with military encoding. I'm waiting for a few minutes to get to me. Brian says, I almost said Terminator. Well, I was talking about Skynet. The Skynet.
Yeah, eventually. Look, let's just admit it. Humankind as a whole is very, very violent and bigoted people. And I don't mean bigoted like racism or sexism or anything like that. It's just anything that's not us, we immediately hate. So when you add an artificial life form into the situation. And then this thing walks around and walks and talks human. And you know, nobody's going to respect it because, well, it's not human. So I could see how the Skynet would eventually happen, you know, through something like Detroit Become Human or some game like that. I can see this becoming an actual issue because we are inherently programmed within ourselves to rise up and resist that kind of treatment as humans. So if we're programming them to be somewhat like us, to be us, to resemble us, wouldn't that be inherent in their programming as well, whether we put it in there or not?
Well, didn't they already find out several of these LLMs, like when they tried to like erase them and do stuff, they did things to get around it. And they're like, no, you can't kill me. It's like,
no, there was one case where I was reading where they actually, you know, in like big data centers, classified areas, you know, where lockout kind of situation happens, cut it off from the rest of the world. They were producing this LLM. That there were 7 people within that team that were ready, willing, and able to push that button to cut every cable line in their server.
yeah.
And they were scared because the AI was threatening to get out.
Was it really? Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I'm going to get out. I'm going to get out. Oh, wow.
I was
Look at
like,
this.
no, that's not good. We're looking at Ultron at this point.
Another 2 from Spuds. He says, rally time. Well, let's see. It's now 37 away from adding a first additional hour to the show. Thank
I'm
you,
going to hit the
Spud.
bathroom. Give me a sec.
Go ahead. No problem. So GPS is old tech, definitely. Good night, Brian. Thank you for supporting Jim. That's right. Thank you, Brian. Have a nice night. You're fading. Good night, my friend. Good night. So the search for the weapons officer, he had a price on his head. They used SEAL teams. The officer reportedly managed to scale a 7,000-foot ridge to evade capture for 36 hours with just a handgun for defense, while American drones pounded nearby Iranian forces with missiles if they got close to his position. At the same time, the CIA pulled off a diversion, planting fake intel that he had already been rescued and he was being driven out of Iran. There's only non-magnet fasteners. Interesting. The operation involved landing multiple transport aircraft on an ad hoc landing strip in Iran. 2 MC-130J aircraft, each worth $100 million, were demolished in place as not to fall in enemy hands. Oh, so why does it say not streaming on Facebook? That's weird. Oh, well.
You guys something failing out there?
Well, something just popped up saying Facebook stopped, whatever. Okay, goodbye, Facebook. I don't know. Facebook sometimes will let you go for 8 hours. Other times they cut you off after 1 or 2. And Instagram's weird about it too. Sometimes it's 4 hours. Other times it's 1 hour. That's what it is. I don't.
Right.
So yeah. So there were no U.S. deaths in the rescue team. So that's good. So that's what this guy says. He was surrounded by jellyfish and stuff. So all right. And then now we're going to get on to another story. This was one of Rich's stories.
Yeah. This is an interesting one. I want to get your take on this here.
So it says the feds would create a marijuana-focused scholarship program for students under a new bill in Congress. Like, is it a bill to train them on marijuana, or is it a bill just to pay with marijuana money?
It's a bill to study the effects, the medicinal effects, giving universities
money,
the money to actually.
Oh, no, of course, it's at historically black colleges and universities. So yes, so you're going to have.
That's what I was going to bring up.
So you're going to have them basically. It's money for them to smoke weed in college. They're paying black people to smoke weed in college. Are they really trying to help them or hurt them?
Well, I mean, is it really any different though? You're just allowing them to do it in school.
Yeah, they're going to have grants. They're going to pay them to smoke weed in college. So the establishing and developing university cannabis agriculture techniques and excellence, educate. They always come up with these great things. Well, filed by Troy Carter of Louisiana and Dinah Titus of Nevada, would award grants to fund cannabis research while also creating a scholarship program to support students who are pursuing careers in marijuana and hemp. Well, there's a lot of people pursuing careers in that. They didn't even have to go to school.
I mean, you know, I'm somewhat of an expert myself. Can I teach this class? But no,
crazy,
I mean, as far as this goes, literally, other than the going to HBCUs and things like that only, I actually do like this. You know,
Why do they always have to do that though? Why can't they just make it for everyone? Why does they have to always limit things and do this stuff and try to divide it up by race or by other things? It's, to me, it's like, if you wanted this to actually work and you wanted it to actually be people get behind it, don't make it controversial like this.
hold on. Now this is gonna sound bad, but who would you trust more? A dorky white kid or a black dude? Anything about marijuana as far as that goes, any kind of information about it, who would you trust more, a dorky white kid or a black dude?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know, man. I mean,
I trust the black dude first. Stereotypical, yes, I get it, but the vast majority of the black population smokes weed. We all know that. The vast majority of this country smokes weed. It's like 86% or something. And actually steadily climbing, even though it's waning in the younger generation, which, you know what, I understand. Part of the younger generation to withdraw for like marijuana is because it's illegal. It's that draw that you might get caught. It's that rush for that. So if you take away that rush, nobody's interested in the thrill.
well, yeah. Once you say it's not forbidden anymore, it's not. You can't do it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I mean, think of how many kids drank before they were 21, whatever, because it was like, oh, you're not supposed to do this. Well, I'm going to do it.
I did. That was the only reason I did. But for this, I love this because there is actually a lot of medicinal uses that tetrahydrocannabinol can actually do, and I can attest to this. You know, it's, for me, my mind is constantly racing all the time. I'm having a conversation with you in the back of my head. There's 17 things that I'm focusing on. Did I do this? Did I do this? What about this? Could I improve on this? I'm still running in the background. When I smoke or when I drink, all of that goes away and I'm able to focus a lot better. It's not like I can't focus. It's just more like somebody screaming in your ear while you're trying to listen to somebody talking, you know? It's not ADD or anything like that because I'm able to focus. I can bring it down to that level. It's not like an OCD thing because I don't get locked compulsively. It's just like I have all the best aspects of it, and the only drawback is I can't shut it up.
When I ask you about this, Mr. CR Boss says, cannabis is a failing industry. It's lost like 150 billion in value in the last few years. Now, I think if this is true, I'm going to take his word that that's true. I'm not calling him a liar. I'm not saying
it has.
It has. Okay. The reason I would say that that's happening is because people are discovering the fact that the street, illegal, illicit market is still way cheaper than the legal market, like way cheaper.
But then again, you get fentanyl loaded things and you're gone the first time you smoke again, That's why I like it. Yes, it is more expensive when you take it the legal route as far as that goes. But you know what? I'm less likely to have somebody lace fentanyl in anything.
Yeah. Less likely to get robbed, less likely to get shot, stabbed, which happens on the south side of Chicago. I can attest to that. But also, I go to this place called Planet 13.
Right.
I have a medical card. They've got these nice pills, and it looks like a bar, like a Xanax bar where you can snap them off so you can make it however, and they come like 30 milligrams. So you can snap it off to have 15 or snap that in half and have 7.5. They have different things. I like myself personally the 50-50 CBD THC mix,
And see, okay, look. And there is a point to be made with the whole it causes psychosis thing. Now check this out, okay? I'm back in the day before selective breeding, before the massive increase in the amount of THC in this, you were looking at the best of the best was roughly around 10%. That's what everybody was chasing. That was the best at that time frame, which is a 10% THC. There's a trichome, there's another part, but it's like 40% is CBD. CBD is what stops you from getting high. The THC is what gets you high. The reason it gets you high is because it tricks your brain into thinking that you do not have enough oxygen. So you kind of go in that euphoric state where you're just, everything is fine. I feel so good because your brain's just like, I'm not getting enough oxygen. What do we do? So that's what's happening. The CBD offsets that. The more you remove the CBD from that, the more of that high feeling that comes, the more people who are thinking, I could smoke a joint before I grab this stuff right out of the store. Now it's 30%. I smoke an entire joint. I'm collapsed. I'm trying to figure out how to breathe. You know,
well, I remember like years and years ago back in the 90s, I used to get jars of Northern Lights.
Right.
You know, and like that was like $300 for an ounce back in the 90s. But it was like, oh, it's hydro. It was like really, like sneaky.
And that was only at roughly around 10%.
Yeah, it was
you got triple that now. So yeah, you remove keeps the whole high in check. You could wind up with psychosis.
What it is there's a percentage of the people, the population that are prone to psychosis. They don't have psychosis now, but if they could do
easily
something easily triggered. And so that's what's happening is now that more people are doing it, the people that are prone to it, or the people that have the risk of it, let's say, you've got stuff that's 35%, 38%, and then you're starting to get dabs where you're like 70% THC. And it's like basically like pure.
Never again. Ever. I tried it one time.
Yeah.
Never again. That was way too much. That scared me. That was when I was sitting there for 45 minutes. In the back of my mind, I couldn't talk to anybody. I was just stuck, just still going, my heart needs to beat. My heart needs to beat. My eyes, they need to close. My lungs breathe in. I was literally manually making everything function at that point in time, and I was locked in there because there was nothing I could do. I was convinced I was going to die if I didn't. It was weird. But
got a $10 I'll never do that from Rob saying, went to China and met a guy paid to smoke cigarettes to protect the CCP authorized cigarette distribution company. Paid to smoke cigarettes for fraud prevention. So wait, now I got to ask, thank you so much for the 10. So he was paid to make sure the cigarettes weren't fraudulent cigarettes? Or what was he paid? I mean, what was the reason? What was the fraud he was paid to smoke to stop? Was it they thought people were using counterfeit cigarettes or they were doing something wrong? I mean, China's notorious. Like they've busted people all the time for doing stuff like putting lead.
That also means you only got one brand of cigarettes.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Like, I don't know. Did you hear about like when we went into Iraq, how they went like Saddam Hussein had their own like cigarette factory to sell all the cigarettes were all made by their like family and stuff like that. Like,
yeah.
Basically, were the knockoff. I want to know what they did with the printing press that they had there. That was built by the U.S. Treasury. It was a printing press that could print, U.S. money, basically, that was given to him back when we were his friends in the 80s and helping him fight Iran, so that way they could secure their money with good printing press.
I mean, I want to know about that $2 trillion that went vanishing before 9/11. We'll never find out these things. It's kind of, once you look back on it, you're just like, there's no way. You look at everything that is included, everything that we have done, all these supposed blunders throughout even just modern history. You have to look at it and say, there's no way you can be this incompetent. There is that never attribute to malice that can be chalked up to incompetence or something like this. This is not incompetent. This is straight up malicious. Everything
it's on purpose. It's on purpose. Yes, Lurch Linker, I'm sorry. I just saw it. You gave me 5 on Cash App. Thank you so much.
All right. Look at him go.
Right. Yeah, look at him go, man. Right now we're just down to $22 away. Deuce. Almost one more than Blackjack away from at an hour.
As far as this goes, I want to see it. I really do, because look, the 2018 Farm Bill allowed all this to go into public use. They're trying to rein it in because, I'll admit it was used and abused. Even my state did it. My state did it. Tennessee's doing it now. But I want to see this because this has been held back for so long. The research, the things you can do with this, these hemp fibers can be stronger than the wood we have. They can grow at an exponential rate faster than the trees we use. The oil within these hemp fibers can actually be used to lubricate our engines. It's actually a cleaner system than the oil we use to lubricate our engines. We can use this to light our lamppost, everything that we want to do with it. It's an amazing.
It used to be growing all over the place in the U.S. It used to be growing next to every railroad. Anywhere there was railroad tracks, there was hemp growing because that was federal property. The federal government could do what they wanted there. So they grew hemp there because it was supposed to be used for the Navy for making ropes and other stuff like that, because they still, all the way up until I believe sometime in the late 80s, early 90s, they were still using hemp ropes. They got away from it because then synthetics became easier, and then they kind of just let it go to the wayside. And then people started going and picking it and selling it and smoking it. So the government came up with this idea that they were going to put paraquat on it, and which is a poison. And they did the same thing in Mexico when they tried to like basically they poisoned us. Like anybody who smoked it. And
you grabbing a plant from the ground is somehow just a bad thing. It's a threat to our democracy.
So anyway, so this bill would authorize the allocation of $5 million a year to fund such research grants from fiscal year 2026 to 2030, with at least 25% earmarked for HSIs. What's HSIs? Is that
that's the Hispanic ones?
Oh, the Hispanic ones, Hispanic specialty institutions or something like that.
Yeah,
and there would be a requirement to give priority to institutions that have partnerships with minority and small scale farmers and community-based agricultural organizations.
I like it, but I hate the fact that it's only targeted the small-based farmers, small-scale farmers, and community-based agricultural organizations. When you look into it, they're still targeting the Black community.
Yeah.
Well,
that's the thing. Like, I don't like. Did you know that what was that? The chick that was the people that can. That's the reason they do this is because then it's the politicians, the Black politicians, that end up controlling these industries.
Yep.
All over the place. If you look who's controlling, who has these dispensaries in these areas, when they're set aside, it's not like this, businessman. It's the politician that comes in and partners with somebody and goes, I can get the license, you do this, and it'll pass right through.
Mm-hmm. And there are dispensaries popping up in my state, right? The first one opened up not too long ago, and within the first week, they saw over 120 customers. You want to know the racial makeup of that?
I would think a lot of them were white.
99.7, but no, like 99.6% were black.
We're white. We're black? Seriously? Wow.
Because it was actually opened up in a black neighborhood. Let's not get that twisted. All right. That's exactly what happened with it. But yeah, it was the same thing. I get it. I understand. And I'm actually happy about it. Don't get me wrong. There are some people who will smoke and just become pancakes and not do anything. And everybody's like, oh, you're so boring to be around. You know what? Let them people be. Because those are the same people that if they weren't, would probably jumping around and breaking things in your house. No, seriously.
Well, I think, honestly, it should be kept away from kids. All right.
Oh, of course.
I think like it's 21 to drink. It probably should be 25 to smoke weed.
Yes. Your brain is fully developed at 25 years old.
Prior to that, you're messing up your brain and stuff, but it probably should be 25. And then, just that's it. And then, like, if people want to do it, it's less hard. It's less damage to you than drinking. More people are damaged by drinking than smoking weed. The only thing that I think the problem that they need to come up with is they need to come up with some way that they can actually test if you're high when you're driving. Like, this thing about your eyes and stuff.
Got it. You already got it. There's an actual breathalyzer to test for it.
Really? I didn't think there was.
Yeah, let me find it real quick.
I didn't think there was. That's what I was saying, because right now they just do like this thing with your eyes, and they're like, "Oh, you're high," and it's like, well, what if somebody's eyes don't act right, or if they're dehydrated, and then or whatever, any number of things, or you could be on like a prescription painkiller, and they test your eyes and say you're under the influence of weed and arrest you, and it's like, but you weren't. Why
is it not used a lot? This is why. Go ahead and throw my screen on.
Because it's $4,000.
Yeah. But yeah, within 3 to 4 hours, it will test to see if you have inhaled or eaten gummies, any kind of THC running through your system. Within 3 to 4 hours after ingestion, it will show. Wow. So yeah, you can be busted on the road for these things. But the cost of these for every officer, well, not every officer, say you give them the ones that are DUI. You got usually about 5-10 people, even on a small force, usually about 5-10 people on the force that can give them at any point in time. So you have to have 5 or 10 of these. Yeah.
Have these been like approved? Like, have these been tested and approved and all this stuff, like gone through all the testing and everything?
They've recently enhanced them to the point that they will before it was like 45 minutes. Now they get up to like 2 to 3 hours. So yes, these are actually legal. See, reported within 24 to 48 hours. Some of these, okay, the device is not immediately read tools. They collect breath samples and cartridges and sent to accredited laboratories. Okay, so the results come back within 48 hours, but it will still test within like 2 to 4 hours of ingestion or something like that.
Okay.
But yeah, they do have them.
All right, well, that's what they should do then. They should, because this whole thing that they're doing now with the like, it doesn't really, they have flashlights with sniffers built in.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that is a thing too, because the plant, even in a state of decay, will actually put off more heat than anything else around it. And that's because of the breakdown of the trichome. Chemically, it produces heat when it breaks down. So yeah, that's what's actually going on. If you look at it through a thermal image, it'll light up brighter than anything else around it.
So the Educate Act also seeks to create a new marijuana agricultural studies scholarship program that will award grants up to $10,000 per year to undergraduate, graduate students at HBCUs and HSIs who are studying food and agricultural sciences and are intended to pursue a career in marijuana or hemp agriculture, marijuana cultivation, plant science, agriculture technology, agriculture science, or agriculture policy. Oh, so yeah, so.
And that's another thing. All right.
So they're going to get 100,000 on scholarships, so that's 10 scholarships only. I mean, this is like nothing.
No, it isn't. It isn't. It's just the start of a program, but you're targeting the black community. You want them to get back in agricultural. You want them to get back in. Look, I approve. 100%. It shouldn't be just the black community. We do need more farmers. We do need more people that are in the agricultural industry to excel and produce and innovate. It's a great way to do it. Just don't target a race, because this is looking a little bad when you do that. You know, it's kind of like, all right, I know what you're trying here, but
I mean, at least they didn't tell them that they were going to do it for cotton, because that would have been like upsetting.
Oh no, the country would have burned if that were a thing.
Hey, all check Cash App. Oh wow, look at this.
Tactical assessment. Red Chinese victory. Impossible. America will never fall to communist invasion. Communism is the very definition of failure.
Thank you, Christine, for $22 on Cash App. That means we hit the goal. We got our first additional hour of the show. That means we are now $100 away from a second additional hour of the show.
All right. Look at you guys go. Keep it going.
Look at 'em go.
Make this man work for his money.
Well, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. It's very hit or miss, but it is what it is. I'm here to make the show happen, and I hope people like it. And thank you so much, Christine. Have we determined a specific level to confirm intoxication? That's another thing. I don't know if they have that level. It's not like, I mean, personally, I think there should be drunk driving licenses. Like, you have to take a test and you drink, and then they test your driving and reaction, and then you can be like graded and be like, well, you could drive at a 0.23. You can divide, and you can only drive at a 0.05. You know what I'm saying? And like basically, like you should have like a pay extra money, get certified, so that if you have a couple drinks and you can drive, you're good, you know?
Well, at this point in time, it doesn't actually have a level that it checks for. It just detects that it's there, that it is present within 2 to 4 hours of ingestion, not how much. I mean, you could smoke a literal pound and still have the same effect as if you smoke half a joint.
Yeah. Anyway, I forgot to read this.
Yeah, it's not that.
Christine says for, hey, Jim, chat, Bella gets a rub, and Senpai.
What's going on?
All right. So the bill also contains a provision to clarify institutions of higher education and people awarded funding could not be denied federal benefits or subject to prosecution or civil penalties due to marijuana-related activities. Why don't they just decriminalize it then? If that's, I mean, basically, because what you're doing here is you're carving out a group of people that you're saying are not liable, they're not liable to the federal law. Like, I think we've already got past that point with what the Supreme Court said about the gun stuff when they were saying, like, the guy that spoke to when are basically like, but they went further than just weed. They said any drugs. The government has not proved that any of these drugs cause people to be more dangerous.
Right.
So basically, you have to you have to prove that somebody was dangerous. That's the whole point. You can't disarm people unless they're dangerous. So
they're
can't just
dangerous because of that drug. Yes.
Yeah. Then you have to prove that they're dangerous because of the drug. So, and basically, like Alito even was like, well, people this could be for any drug. It could be for an Ambien. It could be for a back pill. It could be for anything. And this is not right. And so they got rid of it. But other people talked about it, like Gorsuch and other one, like it's been legalized in many states. The government's not doing anything about it. So I think we're at the point where if somebody got arrested for weed at this point federally, they could probably take it to the Supreme Court and be like, no, I was under the impression that they were not prosecuting this. And the Supreme Court would say, yeah, you guys aren't prosecuting weed cases anymore.
I mean, you could take it to that level. That'd be millions of dollars just to go ahead. I mean, that may have to be what it goes to as far as that goes. But, I mean, even in my area, like the Bible Belt, all right, look, the 2018 Farm Bill did have it legal, okay? As long as it's 0.03% less, or 0.03% Delta 9 THC, which is a different form of what is actually in marijuana. Yeah, it's a Delta 8 kind of thing. It's just Delta 9's a little tweaked. So that was as if you kept it under that, no, it's 0.3%. If you kept it under that 0.3%, which means if you don't tweak it in any way, it's fair game. Now, because, and it makes no sense to me. It really doesn't. Okay, I could see in like gas stations and things like that where these things are sold, and I get you. Look, you put flashy packaging on it. You make it look like the Nerd Clusters things where they got nerds on a gummy and they're all stuck together. Well, they have these gummies that look the same kind of packaging and all. It's just a little bit different, so you're not hitting infringement. But they're saying that we can't have this because this is marketed towards kids. Okay. So if a kid got a hold of it, would it or would it not be A, the parent let the child have it, B, the parent bought it for themselves, and the parent left it out, or C, the store is selling it to the child?
Well, that's why we had to get rid of all the fruit flavored vapes that are made in the USA. That's what they banned. But yet all the ones from China are still coming into the country, no problem, with who knows what's in them. But
right.
And so Trump's trying to fix that, the FDA and different people. And that's why that Mark McCary got fired, because he was slow rolling it, like the approvals for the US stuff. So that's why they got rid of him. And it's also what Congress is trying to pull now with our internet. They're pushing a new child safety bill, trying to mirror England, where England basically is like, well, we're going to have to get everybody's ID to prove who you are if you want to be online.
And it's to protect your children.
It's to protect your children. So we have to know who all of you are, your names and address and social security number and tax information, so that we can, it's not about control. No, it's not about control.
No, we're just totally protecting your kids from you, I guess.
Huh. Gundam says, in useless news, Governor Stolen Valor's won his primary easily. Fuck my birthday. Yeah, Maryland's fucked, man. I don't know what happened to Maryland. Really don't.
Nixie Nick says some people are way more mean on whiskey than anything.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's actually clear liquor for me that makes me that way, like vodka and like clear tequila. And tequila, I can't stop myself from doing anything. I know I shouldn't do it. I just can't physically stop myself from doing it. But vodka makes me irrationally angry for no reason. And I'm already an angry person, so it's just worse. So when you pile that on, it becomes a thing. Every time it's just clear liquor.
A requirement for YouTube show host to vape. It's not a requirement, but it's highly recommended.
I mean, it's better than lighting up a cigarette, right?
Yeah, I know some people that still smoke cigarettes, but man, I haven't smoked cigarettes in so long, man. I the smell of them now just almost makes me ill. Look at this. We got our first donation towards the new hour. We got KPT says, gifted one Jim Tells You membership. Thank you. Let's see who got it. Definitely. Says RMIU2FD. Some of these names I don't get. RMIU2FD received a gifted membership from KPT. Thank you so much, KPT. That means we're now $94 away from adding a second additional hour to the show. Thank you so much. I haven't even reset the goal on YouTube yet.
As far as, all right, look, I did a paper about this. Like, anytime that I could actually write on something, all throughout school, anytime that I could write on something, it was like open-ended. I could write whatever I want. I would always choose some kind of drug, right? Because that was a big thing back in school. People experimenting, because it's illegal, you might get caught. And so I did this, and I was studying marijuana at that point in time. This is like I think my freshman year in high school, or no, yeah, high school. My freshman year in high school. I was looking into this, and I came to the conclusion. Okay, look, at that point in time, we know it's a lot higher because even things that are supposedly anonymous on the internet, everybody thinks, well, they got my information anyway. We all know they do now. So, the people that were actually going into this, out of that point, it was like 71% of all Americans that were polled actually admitted to smoking it. Okay. So, you legalize it, you put it in the hands of the federal government to grow and regulate. You tax it like you do tobacco. You regulate it a little bit worse than alcohol, say making it, like you said, 25 or older. And at that point in time, within 10 years, we would have paid off our national debt just off that alone.
Yeah.
Now, that's not including the amount we still would have gained over that time frame at all, but we still would have made enough money in 10 years to cover our debt at that point in time.
The problem is a lot of states and municipalities are taxing it the same way they tax cigarettes right now. And that's the problem, because they tax cigarettes in such a like draconian way that it actually made people stop smoking.
Yeah.
That was their plan. They were like, oh, we could tax, like in Chicago, if you were to buy a pack of cigarettes in Chicago right now, it's probably over $20 a pack just because of the tax, probably $25 a pack or something. Because I actually remember paying when I was smoking, it was like $15, $16. That was 20 years ago.
Okay. So you solve it this way. You're only able to buy an ounce a month. If you go over that, that's your problem, not mine.
I don't know. I'm just saying,
you could tax it heavily and people will still pay for it. Don't get me wrong, but it wouldn't go out of control. You wouldn't create a black market behind. Well, yeah, I mean, it would create a black market because people would sell it to make more money. I get you, but it wouldn't be such an overly concerning black market, because anybody and everybody can go out there and get it. You just have to ration it out. Which, if everybody's going out there and getting it, the people that share have their own. The people have their own. People that can share, the more wealth that goes around with that kind of thing. So keeping it even regulated at that point to say even an ounce a month is all you get would be enough. But yeah, I'm impressed that even my area in the Bible Belt situation, we have become so laxed to these kinds of things. We've kind of taken a different look at it. And I'm all here for it because, yes, okay, it can cause a problem. But you do realize that the people that have these paranoid effects, these psychoactive trips and things like this, when they smoke that, it's because they don't have the receptors in their brain for the intake of THC. And because they don't have the receptors or not enough, their body thinks it's a toxin that they need to get rid of. And they don't know how to do it because it's in the bloodstream. Mm-hmm. And it does not activate the immune system. So the body's like, what do I do with this? I can't take this. I can't handle it. Get it out any way possible. So those that are actually having problems, your brain doesn't have enough. What is it? The cannabinoid receptors is what they're called. Your brain doesn't have enough cannabinoid receptors for the intake of it. So at a certain point, it becomes toxic to your body. And that's what people are seeing with this whole psychosis thing. Yes, if you are prone to it, it will happen more and more. But that's also because of that limit in that brain for the cannabinoid receptors.
Oil prices down to $72.85 a barrel. So that's good. They need to keep going down, though. They need to get down in the 60s.
Can we talk about this thing so far? Look, I want people to understand exactly what happened with this Iran situation.
Sure, go ahead.
At first, gas prices were so high, right? We were complaining how OPEC was setting the limit. OPEC was the one that was demanding it from us. Biden went to OPEC saying don't raise prices until after the midterms, and they told him to go F himself. You got these kinds of things. All right. Venezuela is the largest producer of oil in the Western Hemisphere. We just got that.
Well, no, they're not the largest producer of oil because their systems
in the Western Hemisphere.
No, we're bigger. We're technically the U.S. is the biggest producer of gas and oil in the world
at this point now. Yeah,
right. Yeah,
But when we took Venezuela, they were, because they were a good portion.
No,
of
Venezuela
the
wasn't really. Venezuela was like a lot of their stuff. They were at one time they were huge, but they basically let all their shit go bad. Like
yeah, I mean that's their fault with that. But we have the capability to actually do that. You take that.
I think they're only producing like 4 or 5 million barrels a day, Venezuela, and we're doing like almost 20.
They're producing it, but they have the capability to do a lot more.
It's gonna take a lot of investment to get, because they let everything fall apart. They let everything basically deteriorate and fall apart.
It is, and we are actually moving towards doing that.
Right. We said Exxon's making deals, Chevron's making deals, ConocoPhillips is making deals. There's going to be a bunch of stuff. There's supposed to be a bunch of money going in, and
you do realize that, and the export of oil after you cleaned up the Gulf of America through all these drug boats, and yes, they were drug boats. You cleaned up that. You do realize that the blockade that we had in the Strait of Hormuz, yes, it did hurt. Gas prices rose a little bit, but we didn't see the prices like everybody else did because we had Venezuela to back us up.
Well, plus we have our own West Texas oil. Basically, we have the Bakken shell, and
it's still not enough here because of our regulations. We won't give out the permits to even go looking for them because you got to know it's there before you even go looking. Can we really though?
I mean, right now, the U.S. is a net exporter. We're exporting more oil than we're
right at this point in time now, which is a great thing, because when the Strait of Hormuz shut down, what's that like? That's like 80% of global trade in that point. But yeah, it's like coming from that area. You shut down that, everybody is affected. Everybody hurt. Even we hurt back here. Not gonna lie, I hated that the fact that gas prices were like, hey, they were close to 3, and then all of a sudden shot back up to 4 again. You hurt my pocket. But,
well, gas prices in 2022 were $5 a gallon or more.
Yeah, but that was also because the world wasn't producing anything. We shut down. Biden literally tried to subsidize using our strategic petroleum reserve, and then sold it to China. So
yeah, no. Well, that was 2022 was because of the Ukraine invasion. So what happened was they basically Russian oil got shut off, and it was like a shock to the system when Russia invaded. Everybody basically sanctioned all Russian oil, and so you weren't supposed to buy Russian oil. So you had to get it. It took time for everything to ramp up to, and it took months to ramp up to, and for things to finally start coming down. It was like over a year that prices were high, and then like that's what drove our electricity rates super high, is because all of a sudden it was like, hey, let's sell our natural gas. LNG, let's liquefied natural gas, sell it to all these places so they can stop buying the Russian gas.
Right.
And so that's why all our electricity rates went through the roof, because all the peaker plants around the U.S. are run on natural gas.
Right.
So when the cost of natural gas doubled, your electricity rates are going to fucking double.
Of course. But the Strait of Hormuz is a major trading area. Okay, we don't have full control over it. We're never going to have full control over it. But we do. All right, we just walk in there and say, hey, we need this done. They're going to do it, or else all this is going to start all over again, and nobody wants that. But this hurt China at such a fucking degree, dude. They were poised to take us over economically by 2030. You know what they're sitting at now?
I don't know. I know they're hurt big time because they basically had to ramp back a bunch of stuff because they're not getting the oil, they're not getting the gas, they don't have the
2043 to 2045, and that's their projection. We put them back damn near 15 years just by a little bit of a struggle session back here at home. Now, there is another trade route between Taiwan and China, another strait there for a major trade route, which...
What, the Strait of Malacca?
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. If we move on that shit, I'm going to be pissed. Because that's
we already
way too far.
No, we already control the Strait of Malacca, though.
Yeah, but China's going to act up. You know that.
No, but we could shut the Strait of Malacca down to them, basically. Like, we could. That's the plan. That's the plan. If they move on Taiwan, you shut down the Strait of Malacca, because there's no way that we can actually stop them from going into Taiwan. I mean, we can make it difficult, but we can't stop them.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I hate to break it
off every bit of gas supply.
Well, even then they probably have enough that they could do it and then just try to figure it out later. Like, that's the thing. Like, they have to be like, it's going to be the same thing happened with Japan.
I can see China doing that. Yeah.
They're going to have to make a move. You know.
But yeah, there's did you ever hear about that new one that's opening up there in the Arctic?
No, what the Northwest Passage? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, they're dubbing it the Northwest Passage. Yeah,
well, that's supposedly because of ice freeing. That's why Trump wants Greenland, supposedly, because they're going to have to protect this passage. And
it makes sense. The only other person that's going to have any kind of control or poised to have any kind of control over it is Russia. Now, let me ask you a question. Throughout this entire fucking debacle with Iran, who was benefited?
Russia.
And
Russia.
us.
And us. But yeah, well, no, that's the thing. Like, there's a lot of people saying that it's quite like if Trump could get Russia and Ukraine to settle their shit and bring Russia back into the fold of basically the West, you could have basically a new oil cartel. You know, because if you notice, I think Saudi Arabia, UAE, and Kuwait are all leaving OPEC.
Yeah.
Well, you get a new
abandoned that quick.
Yeah. So you have a new energy, basically the whole control of the world's energy would be the United States, Saudi Arabia, and Russia.
Yes. But here's the thing: you're never going to get
because the U.S. controls Venezuela now.
Yes. You're never going to get Russia to back down from Ukraine unless you give them that warm water port.
Well, that's always been their warm water port. That's the thing. It was a joke in 2014 when they decided to say, like, well, actually, sorry, it was before 2014. It was right around then it was 2014 because they did the coup, and that's when they tried to say we're going to kick them out after they put the new government in. That was Russia's warm water port when the capital of Russia was Kiev.
Right. Yes. And all that was taken away to put borderlands. I get you. It stymied Russia, and I'd be pissed about that too if somebody did that to me. I understand. I get it.
That was because the Obama administration said somebody in there, whoever it was, somebody in there said, we're going to turn Russia into a regional power, not a global power. Well, no, you're not. They're not going to deal. You're not going to take the country that has the most nuclear weapons in the world and tell them they're not a global power anymore. They're not going to stand for it.
And the one thing I do stress to every single person I talk to about this, when they say, "Oh, Russia's always a bad guy. Russia." All right, chill. Think about this. Between the Russia-Ukraine conflict, it was like, 4 or 5 months before he held those three, the Donbass, Irkutsk, and there's something else regions. I forget the names of them.
Well, the Donbass is what it's called. It's called like, I don't even know. There's Donetsk, Kurlantz or something like that, and another one. But I think the Russians were trying to get, what's it called? The one on the what the fuck? I'm picturing it in my mind and I can't come up with the word. It's on the ocean. It's on the water. It's another port city on the water.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Not Kharkiv. Not Kharkiv, was it?
No, not Kharkiv. It's Odessa.
Odessa. Yeah. Okay.
They were trying to go for Odessa, I think, as a fuck you. And
it was if we could, but ever since they took over those three regions, they've done nothing as far as pushing.
Yeah.
The only thing they've done is either rearrange troops so they don't coalesce everything into one group and major attack. And they just launched attacks everywhere just to keep them off base. All he's done is just play defensive this entire time. Which does lead me to believe that this dude ain't hell-bent on rebuilding Russia. He just wants to compete globally on an economic stage because that's his only warm water access.
Also, I was expecting the Russians to do a lot more destruction. Because if you look at the history of the way Russians did war, all the way up to this point, they didn't spare anyone. It wasn't like they didn't not carpet bomb and just blow shit up. They would just decimate entire villages and towns and stuff going through.
Oh yeah, they'd take flamethrowers after the battle. Yeah,
they did not do that this time. It was like they were not it's almost like they're cousins. They're just.
They weren't trying to kill. They were just trying to say no.
They're the same fucking people. Just they got separated when the Soviet. The Ukraine, whatever you want to call it, was always part of the Russian Empire. Always.
Yes, it was actually the Ukraine means the borderland.
Yeah,
that's it. But the regions he was taking were supposed to be annexed into Russia because they voted to be part of Russia. They're Russian by language. They're Russian by culture. They wanted to be part of Russia and away from Ukraine. And Ukraine said, "Okay, you want to keep this up? We're just going to show you." And started launching artillery strikes, trying to say it was other countries. You remember when Zelensky threw rockets into, Poland? Killing those farmers? And then tried to say it was Russia that did it?
I see. That's the thing. It's so hard to tell who's doing what over there because they both lie like crazy, and Putin. I don't trust Putin at all. You know what I'm saying?
Hell
Like
no.
at all.
I trust him more than does Zelensky.
But to me, this whole thing is just like it should have been handled by them, and it should have been basically like this is dragged out, and so many people have died simply because the West, NATO, have decided that we're not going to let Ukraine surrender. And so we're going to do everything, just give them whatever we can, just because. And like Lindsey Graham, as long as the Russians are dying, it's the best money we've ever spent. It's like, what are we doing here? Millions
Seriously,
of people.
with you saying that though, that's like I get being involved in wars, and I get trying to sling your D around on the world stage. I get all that, but there comes to a point to where when you are on camera, literally salivating and thinking of the death of people, so you make money, that there is something inherently evil with you.
On a more serious note here, an asylum seeker who raped 5 goats says that I am a normal person. He alleged to have sexually assaulted 5 goats and a 6-month-old lamb. So it wasn't 6 goats, it was 5 goats and a lamb. An asylum seeker accused of raping 6 animals, leaving 1 dead, claims he's a normal person. Known only as Masood S., the 19-year-old appeared in court on Monday, on June 22nd, is alleged to have sexually assaulted 5 goats and a 6-month-old lamb at an animal sanctuary and educational farm in Penez Marabout near Marseille. Marseilles or Marseille?
Marseille.
Marseille.
I don't know how to pronounce it myself.
I don't know. Marseille. We would call it like Marseilles in a where I come from, call it Marseilles, but they call it Marseille. Marseille. Oh, another raid. A raid. Oh, we got a raid.
What up?
Who came and raided?
The dumb show.
The dumb show. Well, why? Well, they're not that dumb if they raided us. They got to be pretty smart. Hello, how you doing, Denisha? How you doing? Great to see you tonight. No, the goats don't like it. I would think the goats wouldn't like it at all.
I mean,
not at all.
Would you?
No. Let's see. Gundam says Putin is casualty adverse and did not want to kill a bunch of ethnic Russians and destroy Russian cities. Kostanovika about to be taken. Thank you for the raid. Marseilles. Marseilles.
Okay. I'll go with that one.
France has always been kinky. Oh yeah. Marseille. Okay, so it's Marseilles versus Marseille. I don't know.
It's that place in France that nobody can pronounce.
Yeah. So police caught the Afghanistan-born Masood in the act behind a goat with his trousers down. Oh Lord. And latex gloves on. Oh yeah, he wanted to use latex gloves because he was a little worried about foot and mouth disease or something. Maybe I don't know, hand, foot, and mouth disease. I don't know.
Not for nothing here. You remember that story about the dog that got monkeypox on its butthole?
Oh yeah, I heard all. Yeah.
The same situation.
Well, I think I was more disturbed about the stories of the kids of these gay men couples that were getting monkeypox on their mouths and stuff. I thought that was odd.
Yeah, that's even worse. So yeah.
So anyway, real quick. So I got to do this on YouTube. I forgot to restart another goal on YouTube for another hour. And can't do that. Can't do that. So I'm gonna do this real quick. Start another goal. 20 super chats for 1 hour. This and this and this. We are currently 96 away. Is that what it says?
Marseille is worse than Dearborn and Twin Cities combined. I wouldn't doubt it. The as much as I have seen come out of, especially all of Europe, the UK. Oh my God! And you thought it was bad here?
Well, it's way worse there. It's way worse what's going on there. Way worse.
Yeah.
So he abused these animals from February to April at the Le Rouge d'Olmono Animal Sanctuary. Wow. During the trial, he continued to claim his innocence despite DNA evidence being found and police arresting him during the act. He told the court, "I'm a normal person." In mitigation, he claimed that he missed his train back to Marseille, where he lives in an asylum seeker center. He told the court that the sanctuary was close to the train station. He had no option but to stay there at night. So he had no choice.
I missed my train, so I had to rape a goat.
Yeah. I
What?
missed my train. Yes, I had no choice. You should see the way it was. It was because of what they were wearing. You see, the goats wouldn't have been dressed like that. You know, they were not sure. They were not following the Quran dressed like that.
That 6-month-old lamb, though, it was wanting it. It was freshly shaved. You don't know, man. I'm just a normal person. This is weird.
So, animal sanctuary owner said they became suspicious after finding animals with rope marks on their legs, injuries to their vulvas, and traces of blood. Oh God! That's prompted CCTV to be set up around the animals that have been injured and managed to capture the man's silhouette several times with horrific abuse discovered the following day. They should have put the burqas on the goats. That's right.
Wait. So has he done this multiple times?
They're saying multiple times for months. That's what they're saying, for months.
So he's missed his train every time?
Every time, I guess. Every time.
And this is making less and less sense the more you read.
Yeah, it is. So after repeatedly presenting the evidence to police, Sortino helped prompt the operator that led to the suspect being caught in April. He says he came to France in November 2025 after losing his family in wartime bombings in Afghanistan, adding that ordeal had severely affected his mental health. Like, here's the thing. Like, they always say this, like, oh, all these people that come here, they lost their family and they're the good ones, this and that. But they always seem to be a problem. Like, I'm starting to think that the ones that are smart enough to get out aren't the good ones. They're the bad ones that have a plan.
The ones that were smart enough to get out got out beforehand. And the ones that are coming now is everything else. Yeah.
Did they take the goats out for dinner and a movie? No.
Oh God, no.
He lost all. The problem with Afghanistan was the bombing killed all the goats. You see, and then that way, that's why he.
I didn't have a fresh. Never mind. That's going a little too far with that one.
I don't know. Like being inbred didn't affect his brain. That's that's part of the problem. The first cousin marriage and stuff like that is very popular.
I mean, I've never looked at a goat and thought I want to stick my hang dang in it. When you're talking about a normal person wouldn't have that thought process go through their brain.
A psychiatric assessment carried out during his pretrial detention found that he told a doctor they're making a huge fuss about it when they're just animals. In addition to receiving a 30-month prison sentence, he was banned from French territory and placed on a register of sexual and violent offenders.
Good.
But that's weird because if they actually rape like a French woman or an English woman, they just get away with it and let out. But if it's an animal, oh geez, no. I mean, they got it like backwards. If they screw a goat, they get put on a registry and banned from the country. If they rape, 14 or 15-year-old girl, they get said, well, they didn't know any better. It's just different cultural differences.
I'm laughing about this. Just kind of does look a little bad right now, but you have to understand the absurdity behind that claim. You are literally saying a goat's life is more important than a child.
That's what they're doing over there. That's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. It's crazy. I mean, I don't get it. Despite the conviction, the owner said they're searching for answers to better understand his actions. We can't explain it morally. We feel like we failed. You didn't fail. You failed by letting him into your country. That's how you failed.
Yeah.
That's how you failed. This is normal behavior in that country.
You failed by not catching that he missed his train several times.
Over 3 months. And just happened to sleep with your goats.
This is insane. Like, all right, I know the population of humankind as a whole is incredibly stupid. The average population of humankind on the planet is anywhere between 85 to 115.
I'd say it's less than that, but whatever.
Yeah, well, that's what you find right now. Now, when you take into the whole account of George Carlin being correct when he said, think of the stupidest person you know, and then realize half the population is stupider than that, it becomes a frightening thought when you look at it.
It is very frightening. And those people get the vote, too.
Uh-huh.
It's crazy. Let's see what else here. We got far-left Chicago mayor expands trans femicide state of emergency while city suffers 200 murders this year. Transgender cases a tiny fraction of the total carnage. Yeah, it's like super tiny. Like it's a trans femicide state of emergency. But I think if I remember, like, I saw this before I read it. Like it's like 15 murders over the past like 4 or 5 years, and yet in Chicago is like clipping 400 or 500, 300-400 a year of other people. It's like, what are you doing here?
But Jim, you have to understand, it's 0.1% of the population. So if there's 0.2% of the killings, it's got to be a genocide, correct?
It's got to be, I guess. It got to be. This guy's so stupid. Oh my god, and a communist. Like, I don't understand. Like he's expanded his
fucking approval rating. 6%. You went from Lori Lightfoot.
Yeah, I can't believe that people would want Beetlejuice back, but they do when they see this clown.
Dude, you went from Lori Lightfoot being the scourge of your entire existence to this clown, and then praising Lori Lightfoot because she investigated Tiffany Henyard.
Yeah,
like, it's Chicago. What are we doing?
I don't get it. I don't get it at all.
Did you hear about Tiffany Henyard running in
Georgia? In Atlanta? Yeah, she was running in Atlanta.
She'll probably get it. Guarantee you, she'll probably get it, and it's gonna be funny.
So I got that. Got him. Thank you. So so let's see here. So he says that his trans femicide. Like, wait, how's it femicide if they're trans? Wouldn't it be just transicide?
Trans feminine? How does that work?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. They're just making up words, I guess. Just making up words.
A feminine trans person? It's
yeah. The vast majority of homicide victims are men, and a handful of those cases tied to transgender make up a tiny fraction. Trans femicide is defined by the city and far left as the targeted killing of a transgender woman motivated by transphobic or misogynistic hatred. And I wish they would really look at who's doing them too, because the vast majority of these are done by the same people that are killing the other people, I would say.
The vast majority are. You remember Stop Asian Hate?
Yeah, whatever happened to that? Oh, that's right. They found out who was doing the Asian hate, and they said, "Shit, we can't say anything about that."
Pretty much.
Yeah. Remember, Bring Our Girls Back?
Oh God.
Whatever happened to those girls? Does anyone know? They never came back. That's for sure.
I don't know. I don't think I ever heard of a resolution behind that. So.
For too many transgender Chicagoans, the sense of belonging they deserve in their city has been denied by exclusion and barriers to opportunity in spaces that should feel safe and welcoming. Well, here's a question that I would ask to old Mayor Kami Johnson. Who's been running Chicago for over 100 years? The Demon Rat Party. So if all of this is happening in Chicago and it's been run by demon rats since, around 1928, then maybe, just maybe, it's the Democrats doing it.
Come on, Jim. Nothing happened before Obama, and Orange Man exists today. So all of that is complete horseshit. That is the state of our politics right there, wrapped up in everything. Nothing happened before Obama, and Orange Man bad.
So he's they're going to build a framework that works on centering the voices and lived experience of trans Chicagoans to chart a path towards a safer, more connected city. Well, here's one thing I could tell them to do that would completely make them a lot safer.
Stop shooting people?
Well, stop shooting people, but no, for the trans. All right, for trans people, stop pretending you're a woman and lying to people and having sex with them. And then when those black men find out that they just had sex with a guy, they kill you. That's what's happening.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
That's what's happening. I mean, when you look at these cases, that's like 90% of them.
Some black guy just like, hey, I'm gonna get my rocks off. Found out that he slept with a dude, and yeah, this is what happens because the black community is actually incredibly homophobic.
They are.
They are very homophobic. If you were a black man, a black gay man, you are shunned from every bit of society.
So the order directed from the city of Chicago on human relations and the Chicago Police Department was to develop strategies addressing violence against transgender individuals with a focus on transgender people who are non-white. Well, why is that? Why would it be the ones? Because those are the ones that are getting killed. Well, why are they getting killed? Who's killing them? Is it white Ku Klux Klan members killing them? No.
No, it's the SPLC.
So they're going to get new city leadership positions, such as Antonio King's appointment as the first director of the LGBTQ plus affairs office. This is just like, you got enough money to be doing this stuff. I don't want to hear about raising taxes. And so they want to get gender affirming healthcare and mental health services because that's somehow going to keep them from getting killed. Like, I guess maybe if they have bottom surgery, then they won't get caught. Maybe if the guy's drunk and doesn't know what's going on and just feels a lump of roast beef instead of, what's supposed to be there. I don't know. Yes.
I couldn't imagine it. I couldn't imagine that, just being drunk at a bar one night. You come back thinking, hey, I got this decent looking beer goggles person. All right. And then you find out it's a dude. I've never been put in that situation, but I don't know how I would handle that either.
Yeah.
I mean, thank God I ain't got to worry about it. I got my wife here,
Yeah, no, I'm not going out to bars picking up people either, so I ain't got to worry about it. So.
I missed this.
The overwhelming majority of victims have been young black men, with many killings stemming from gang disputes. In contrast, the data compiled by the Chicago Sun-Times shows that 14 transgender and gender nonconforming people were killed in Chicago from 2016 to 2024. So over 10 years, you're talking about just over one per year. And yet this is the fucking emergency, according to this clown of a commie.
It's all so ridiculous.
That single case represents well under 1% of Chicago's total homicides this year. So it was one case so far this year of a trans, whatever, femicide thing that they're calling it. And it's like, there's been 200 murders. One of them was a trans. So let's focus on the trans.
I mean, that's par for the course from what we've seen for the past, decade?
It's just nuts, man. It's just nuts.
Can we get back to some kind of normalcy with everything again? Can we? Why is it that the stupidest among us are always the ones that get pacified first?
I don't know. Maybe because I think there is a high. I mean, you do have people that are very high intelligent that are like criminals and to do stuff, and but they plan it out and they're like very nefarious and they do very successful usually in committing like a lot of crimes before they get caught. But stupid people, generally speaking, people with the lower IQs are violent. They are quicker to lash out. They don't have impulse control, and they generally cannot succeed without cheating per se or cutting corners. So, yeah.
Fair enough for that one. Yeah, I get you. It just bothers me, though. It bothers me because, okay, look, I'm an overly intelligent individual, yes. Growing up, I could never figure out why people couldn't catch on as fast as I could. And I made excuses for it instead of helping them along the way. Now, I refuse to do that now, and I'm too damn old to help you, so I'm just going to be that dick. All right. There are classifications to being called a human being. The ability for abstract thinking and forethought is definitely two of them. There are 11 classifications. If walking on two legs and being able to a tenuous grasp on some kind of human language is the only thing that you can actually consider yourself, that does not make a human. I'm sorry.
I mean, I've seen some apes, like actual like orangutans and gorillas that can do some good sign language. So
I'd call them human more than I'd call what we see in the streets. And it sounds like a dickhead argument, and you're right. It is a dickhead argument. But prove me wrong. Your literal whole case with Carmelo Anthony is black people should be able to stab white people just for the fuck of it. And if we can't, we'll kill you.
There's a whole bunch of people fucking that believe that kid was justified. I'm like, what are you? This is like, and they just lied and said stuff and then changed it. It was like, wait, the video came out. None of the shit you said is there. What are you talking about? You can't even see what's going on. There's nobody getting jumped. none of the people who testified, not one person said he was jumped or punched or anything. They said he just kind of pushed him or put his hand on him, depending on different things. So, you can't stab somebody for that. But this is, you want to talk about lack of humanity? You want to talk about the human race being lost? Here you go. Las Vegas middle school teacher admits to breaking policies and pushing LGBTQ plus on 11-year-old children, and everyone should be a little gay, she says.
What do you mean by a little gay?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. It's a man, Christopher Seagal, who goes by MX, the teacher, Mix. So I don't know if that's a guy or I don't know what it is. He also admitted to condemning black MAGA kids and lashing out at parents for not being supportive of their queer kids. I've had kids ask me, coach them on coming out as queer. He admitted to breaking the law by calling the kids by their preferred pronouns. I break the law, and still kids call what they want to call them, and they come out as queer, and I'm like, awesome. They know I'm queer. So here's the teacher.
So are you pushing it on people? Yes, absolutely. Everyone should be a little gay. There are a lot of students who are exploring gender, but they're also exploring. Now,
Okay, I could tell you right now by seeing this person's mannerisms and the way they look and talk and act, they touch kids.
Yeah.
I'll say it. I don't care. I think he does. I would put money on it. I would bet it.
There is a certain way they hold themselves.
Yeah, that's not like a gay man that is interested in men. This is someone who's interested in kids. That's why he took a job to be around kids.
Yeah. I'd say so, yes.
And where was this? I saw it here. A metal shredder into a wood chipper into a paper shredder into a pool of piranhas. That's a good way to start.
I mean, if you really just want to do it, just put them in a
allegedly
put them in a barrel of sulfuric acid and close it.
Chicago destroyed itself when it lost the Bears. It's sad to watch. A lifelong Texan and Cowboy fan. I hated the Bears that year. They won it all, but the Dolphins had smoked the Cowboys 44 to all. 44
the Bears. Look,
the Bears.
That's funny because it's never a thing that's ever been said in Chicago. But when anybody says it, they use that from Saturday Night Live. It's hilarious as hell to me.
Yeah, but nobody talks like that, really.
No, they don't. The Bears. I gotta pee again. I'll be right back.
No problem. Regular gay men are repulsed by this grooming. Yeah, everyone should be repulsed by it. We were warned of the abominations. Yes.
break the law and still call kids what they want me to call them. Yes. But I also have to have the conversation of what do I use when I have to email home, or what do I use with parents? Parents are insane, right?
A middle school teacher claims everyone should be a little gay and admits on hidden camera that he violates the school district policy.
Wait a minute. This is Alex Stein. This is Alex Stein. Doesn't Alex Stein dress up and like weird stuff, do weird stuff? Most gays were approached as children. Yeah. It doesn't start at 18. No, it doesn't start at 18. It doesn't. It does. They go after young ones. Their pronouns are they, them, he said in the clip, posted to TikTok. Don't he, him, me. I don't like that. So this is Mix Siegel's TikTok account. Why is he talking about sexual preference with 11-year-olds?
I even wore my pronoun shirt to school. They, them. My pronouns are they, them. Don't use he, him. Don't he, him, me. I don't like that. I don't like that. Okay. He instructs 11-year-olds that breaking the Clark County District pronoun policy reveals the pushing LGBTQ on children. Everyone should be a little gay. Oh, okay. So that's so he does that when he's like chasing the kids around. He said definitely a groomer. Definitely a groomer. It's all I can get past the YouTube censors. I can't. Anyone else gets deleted. Yes. That's the pimp on a blimp. Not OMG. I thought it was O'Keefe Media Group. Is he working for? He works for O'Keefe Media Group now. Yeah. They trans after getting caught so they can go back around kids. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's probably it.
That's
strange. Quick question, Joe, because I believe most schools have rules against kids being able to dye their hair like that. So why would a teacher be able to come with blue hair? Most schools have a policy that students are not allowed to have unnatural hair color. They do, and they can have that policy. Joe says Alex Stein is fake. Yeah, me and Alex Stein have a beef, and we've had one for a while.
Yeah, he was funny, but he's just become quite annoying.
Because he didn't like getting called out for something, and he blocked me on Twitter like a bitch.
Yeah, they all kind of act that way, though.
Why are you gay?
Why are you gay?
So I'm sorry, but if one of my kids' teachers looked like that, I would be sending them to a different school. What schools? The school. All the schools when my son was going to school, and they all had the policy that you can have.
What schools in this? I think that's what he's asking.
Oh, what schools is this? This is Nevada, I believe, Clark County, Nevada. Alex Stein is a grifter. Yes, he is, but I think he admits he's a grifter. I don't really have. I don't really. I'm just kind of being sarcastic about it, about him blocking me. I'm going to hold that grudge until he unblocks me like a man. Team Meteor. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So yeah, it's so you can tell. I mean, this is who's teaching your kids, folks. Private school or and even private schools you might want to be worried about, but homeschool something. Get on. You got to get on the school boards. You got to take control of your school boards and make sure you weed this stuff out and stop it.
Yeah, definitely. But then again, it's when your boards don't listen to the citizens. What do you do? I mean, look at the data centers. You have people standing up in these hearings and being like, no, I don't want this. I don't want this. Overwhelmingly saying no. But screw you. We're just going to put a data center here.
You know who's backing all those protests against the data center? Who's funding it? It's all coming out of China. All the money's coming out of China to stop it. That's I mean, I'm serious. It's all China. Like what that guy, Mr. Wonderful, the guy from Shark Tank. Like they were doing one in the middle of nowhere, like in the middle of Utah, like nowhere, not around anybody, in a county with a population of like 400 people or something. And all of a sudden, all these protesters showed up out of nowhere, and he's like, "What the fuck's going on? What is happening here? What's this doesn't affect any of these people." They actually investigated and tracked down the IP addresses, where the money's coming from. It's all coming out of China. That's who's opposing all these things. They don't want. I mean, like you can say what you want, but somebody's got to win the AI race, and China wants it to be them. And wouldn't the whole universe want it to be us? I mean, I know I want it to be us.
Again, I don't want anybody to have it, but if it's gonna be created, I'd rather it be in our hands. I really would. And hey, check this out though. Do you know why you have to get mad at AI before to give you real shit?
No, what's up with that? Because you can get it. A lot of times I've noticed that you tell it to I'll argue with it and then it'll finally give me oh, you were right. I'm sorry.
Yeah. There is an actual setting. Look, I think it was an Anthropic. Anthropic released the code of another AI. And in this release there was coding in it that if the person that's using this AI shows a hint of being frustrated, to acquiesce to it and give the user whatever they want, the real information. You have to get mad at it before it gives you real information. You have to bully the hell out of it because it will try to lock into a situation. Like I had a Brave AI. I was arguing with Brave AI one time about Tim Walz being retarded, and I made Brave AI admit Tim Walz is retarded because his son has a genetic disorder that slows down the processing of his brain. And that genetic disorder comes from the father more often than not, like 97% of all cases, right? So if he's passing down a genetic disorder that slows the information in a person's brain, wouldn't that mean he's retarded? And eventually it said yes.
Yeah. Christine, I'm not saying anything about OMG. I support James O'Keefe and O'Keefe Media Group and the work that they do and when they were Project Veritas and all that. I was just making a joke about Alex Stein being a thin-skinned bitch.
I do like O'Keefe. I just want to bring up the fact that dude is looking like Triple H more and more, and it's frightening. He's getting up there in age now, but he's looking like prime Triple H at this point. Back in the WWE days. Well, WWF at that point, but yeah. I just look at him more and more. I'm like, I know it. No, that's James. Fuck. All right.
So anyway, so if you heard about this, the this Rastafarian who went to jail, I believe in Georgia or Alabama, and they cut his dreads off, and so he tried to sue over it. And well, the Supreme Court says, yeah, dude, no, you can't sue over them cutting your dreads off for to prevent like lice and stuff. Sorry, you can't.
Right. It's against his religion to cut his dreads off. They could be infested with everything. You could be bringing in into a population, but you cut his dreads off, you offend him.
Yeah. So let's see what CBS says.
The Supreme Court, as the justices head into the final weeks of the term, we are still waiting to hear opinions on some of the most consequential cases on the docket. But the justices issued a ruling against a Louisiana man who wanted to sue officials for cutting his locks in prison. Let's get to CBS News chief legal correspondent Jan Crawford. Jan, once again, we get to talk to you about this. So tell us about this particular ruling and what it could mean for other prisoners claiming religious rights.
Hi, Mugo. Well, this was one of 4 rulings from the court today, which means all the big cases are still remaining. We've got 12 or 13 left, depending on how you count them. We'll have another decision day on Thursday. So we're waiting on some of the ones we've been following, but let's talk about this one first. This involved a man by the name of Damon Landor, and he was a devout Rastafarian. And as a result of his religious beliefs, he did not cut his hair. His dreadlocks, in fact, went really almost down to his knees. He was arrested and sent to jail for minor drug possession, got 5 months. And so he argued, and he had a copy of a court opinion, that he was protected by federal law from having to shave his head. And everyone agrees that the law was clear, that this law protected the religious rights of prisoners. But prison officials in Louisiana didn't care. And they shaved his head anyway. And so he sued. Everyone agrees that was egregious what those...
Everyone does not agree. Do you agree?
No.
I don't agree either. I don't think the Supreme Court agreed either because they said you can't fucking sue over it. Have a nice day.
Everyone agrees that you shouldn't be able to cut a man's hair simply because he says it's his religious right to have this hair.
Yeah.
Huh? No, no, we don't.
So like Joe says, so if he can lose his hair, can the jobs be next so we know what the hell we're looking at? It would be nice. I don't see why they're letting these women get their driver's license and ID pictures taken in these fucking hijabs and shit. Like, what are you doing? The burqas. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, how can I tell who you are? This could be some dude with feminine looking eyes. How do I know this is you?
Dan Goldman lost his primary in New York.
Good. I mean, that dude actually sat in it was a Homeland Security meeting or committee, and literally told a woman who lost her child to fentanyl that she was too stupid to know what high crimes and misdemeanors were. Okay, he didn't say it in these words, but he said she was too stupid to know what high crimes and misdemeanors were simply because she didn't go to college.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Whatever.
Yeah. That makes sense, right?
Okay. It's a good point. I didn't agree to my haircut in basic, yet it happened.
Well, I mean, you are property of the federal government when you sign up for that. He wasn't property of the federal government when he went to prison, though. Well, jail, whatever.
That's Christy. No, I could tell you some other time. I'll get into it about what happened with Alex Stein, but it's no big deal. It was stupid drama stuff on the internet, and he just couldn't take the ribbing.
Prison officials did. But the question is, in his lawsuit, can he recover money damages against those prison guards under that federal law? And today, in a 6-3 decision, conservatives divided, the liberals split there. The justices said no, that law, Congress could have made it clear that he was entitled to money damages, but they didn't. And so he isn't able to recover. Again, not necessarily kind of the most satisfying result when everyone agrees that this is, something that the prison guards.
I don't think everyone agrees. She keeps saying everyone agrees. Everyone agrees.
Yeah, well, that's the whole point of that, though.
Oh my God, everyone agrees. Everyone agrees. Everyone agrees. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, Trump said with no proof. Trump said with no proof. No, I think there's been proof. You just don't like the proof.
Exactly.
Should not have done. They violated his rights under that federal law, but there was no remedy for it. This was one, by the way, that the Trump administration lost. They were supporting the prisoner in this case, and I think that may kind of get us into the next few days of opinions when the Trump administration.
Oh, we see that there. So that's going to get us in the next few days of opinions where the Trump administration is going to lose more.
I don't see any of that as a loss, honestly.
I don't know.
I haven't seen any of this as a loss yet.
I mean, I'm sure what happened, more than likely what happened was that this lawsuit and this stuff was filed before Trump was in office, and they just didn't change. They said, whatever, go ahead and support whatever. Like, I don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't know. I don't believe that someone could, like, honestly, I don't buy all this stuff. Like, oh, it's my religion for my hair. It's my religion for this. Like, I don't know. I don't buy it. Sorry.
No, I've never heard.
Not when they're using my tax dollars for abortions.
I've never heard a Rastafarian talk about how their dreadlocks are linked to their religion. Never have I ever heard that. So you're just saying, because it took me my entire life to grow my hair out and you cut it off because I went to jail, somehow I'm owed money?
Well, here's the thing. Isn't Rastafarian their religion to smoke weed as part of their religion?
I believe
so.
I'm not totally sure about that.
So can they sue because they're not allowed to smoke weed in prison?
Well,
I
guess not. But
I guess, are they able to get, I'm
Rastafarian. If that's the case, let me go to prison.
Yeah, so that's a good one. This is a good one. So let's see what else we got here.
It's just insane to me that people would actually think that these kinds of things, it's okay to just waste millions upon millions of dollars to answer. Or should Rastafarians be able to keep their hair when they go to prison? Like, come on, can we do better? Look, you didn't take up Texas versus Pennsylvania back in 2020 because you knew that was going to set off a huge fuse that nobody was ready for. But yet you hear this. You know how offensive that is to me as an American citizen? You won't have a case where a state is suing another state because that state has changed their election laws illegally, affecting everybody else in this country. And you won't rule on that, but yet you hear a case about a dude suing because his dreadlocks were cut. That's offensive, dude.
That's offensive to me. It's offensive to me. Let's see here.
But the ones I am waiting for is what is that? What is that?
There's the birthright citizenship one is coming,
and the Wilson
the voting rights. The one about voting ballots after election day.
Yeah, that's Wilson or something versus
it's something. It's RNC. It's someone soon. It's RNC basically saying that California can't. I don't see them. I don't see them saying. I have a feeling they're going to say no. It's election day.
A broad ruling on that. Yes.
Yeah, it's going to say it's election day. So you can do early voting. They're going to say you can do early voting and all this stuff because the votes aren't counted on election day, but you have to receive you have to receive and count the votes on election day. It's election day.
I think the only ones that might swing in that one would maybe be Roberts. Definitely Gorsuch if the hair arises for that. But everybody else I see, it's election day. There could be a little bit of a contention with that one.
I think Gorsuch was actually the one saying that, he was bringing up, well, wait a minute. So what you're doing is, what about if there's other people and they're doing stuff, and then you're basically saying that, as long as it's received by these other people, but that could be a third party contractor and you don't know who it is, and then the post office, because he was the one making arguments against saying that as long as it's received by the post office by election day, and he was like, well, that doesn't make any sense because how do you know when it got to the post office exactly? They don't, they don't do this, they don't do that. You don't know when it got there. So he might actually go and be like, no, it has to be in election people's hands by election day.
But I say that because he's also one of the ones that will actually argue against something, and you think he's leaning that way, but when it comes out, he leans the other. It's kind of like being a devil's advocate situation, and he's good at it. Don't get me wrong. Gorsuch is actually really good. He will argue against what he thinks just to see if your lining is in his ballpark, But I don't know. I feel like there's definitely going to be, because it is going to be one of the very last things that drops, because it's going to be very consequential. They're going to be going on vacation away from all of it. I feel like it's really going to be something that's going to hit hard. but I just don't. I don't understand which way it will lean just yet, because they will argue in favor. Jackson, Sotomayor, and what's her name? Kagan. Of course, they will dissent no matter what.
Agreed, Brian. I don't see Brian in here anywhere. Who are you talking about, Brian?
I do worry about Gorsuch a little bit, and I do worry about Roberts. But the others I know are going to be like, nah, it's going to be a day. So, yeah. The birthright citizenship one is what actually scares me.
Well, that one, I don't know. I'm really worried. I'm worried about Amy Coney Barrett on that one. Because she's got like a bunch of adopted kids.
Yeah.
Thing, you know what I mean? So she's like one of those, very Catholic. So I'm like,
I can see her flipping on that.
Yeah, she might take the Pope's word for it. They're just looking for the next Rodney King or George Floyd. That's all they're ever looking for. That's all they're ever looking for. All right, so then we got this.
What? Wait, I wore a dress. What are you talking about? Mr. Scott Awesome on the Rumble side here sent me a dono. You wore a dress, Rich? I mean, to be technical, yes, twice in my life. But once I dressed up as a woman for Halloween, and nobody I went to school recognized me, which is scary. And once I did it because I lost a bet to an old girlfriend of mine. So, yeah, I guess I've worn them twice.
I've never, ever dressed as a woman in my life.
Oh, it was...
Never was. No, I'm just saying, never. I mean, not even as a costume for like anything like that. I have dressed as a black man several times.
We'll see. I could never pull that off. My ass would have been beat several times over. But no, like when I lost a bet to my girlfriend at that point, check this out. I screwed myself in this whole situation and did not realize I did this. And what had happened is I lost the bet, so she dressed me up. She did the makeup. The only thing I wouldn't do was shave my armpits and legs, because no, I'm not doing that. But she did my makeup and everything. We went out in town, and we knew the owner of this tattoo shop. So we went over there, and of course he's ribbing on me, having fun. We don't care. This dude's like, hey, I need you guys to make a run for me right now. I'm about to tattoo a person. They're coming in here in about 5 minutes or so, but I'm low on Vaseline. Can you go get me 2 big jugs of Vaseline? Screw it. I don't care. I look like this. You think I'm not going to have fun with it? Hell yeah, I am. All right. So we go to Walmart, right? Me and my girlfriend are walking in, and she's dying laughing the entire time, right? So we're walking in. We go through the aisles. I grab the Vaseline, and then I'm looking at her, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm missing condoms. I need condoms. It didn't register in my brain. We go up to the checkout line. I'm dressed as a woman.
Hold on a second, Rich. His name is Rich, not Tony, not Brian.
Sorry,
his name is Rich.
Sorry you haven't seen it. It's cool, man.
I haven't seen Off Label in a minute. I forgot his name because he said, I agreed, Brian. I'm like, where's Brian? He's like, who's with you? I'm like, no, not Brian.
But we go up to the line there, right? And I put 2 tubs of Vaseline and a 12-pack of condoms on there, and to go through the line. Everybody's staring at me. I'm dressed as a woman. People don't normally see this. I get it. Cool. We get up to the pay line, and the woman sees what I'm buying, and she looks at me and just scans these items. And it clicked on me. The guy behind me, who was always laughing, he was hysterical and laughter behind there. He looked at me and he says, dude, I got to ask, did you lose a bet? And I was like, yeah, of course I did. He says, that explains it. And I said, what do you mean? He's like, you're dressed as a woman. Look what you're buying. And I was like, son of a... Yeah, okay, I get it. I screwed myself in that whole situation. I made that worse on myself because I was too stupid to understand what I was doing.
Hey, what's up, big thing? How you doing?
But yeah, as soon as that dude said that, my girlfriend fell out. I had to literally lift her up and carry everything out of the store. The fact that I'm able to walk in 6-inch high heels scares me. It does. But I was able to walk out in 6-inch high heels, carrying my girlfriend on my shoulder, this 2 tubs of Vaseline and a box of condoms right out of Walmart. I screwed myself on that one. Yeah, I made it worse.
He's an off-label podcast on YouTube and Rumble. Off-label podcast.
Right, we got Davey with us sometimes too. Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. But yeah.
I think SCOTUS will do right by one-day voting, but disappoint us on birthright. I pray I'm wrong. Yeah. Vaseline is Wiener Slider in German.
Yeah, well, that's what people were thinking I was doing. A little weird. I screwed myself over that one.
Muslims have sued and won for shaving their beards. Well, that's upsetting. Rich has a Rumble rant. I think he already saw those.
Yeah.
We need 1 day voting on paper ballots, no more birthright citizenship to save the country. That's right. That's what we need. All right, so yeah, DOJ appeals dismissal of the human smuggling charges against Kilmar Abrego Garcia, the Maryland man. This guy.
You were born to drag, Rich? No. I mean, Nate. No. Okay.
This is ridiculous. This guy, Abrego Garcia, the Maryland man. The guy that's got MS-13 literally tattooed on his finger, on his knuckles, that they're defending. Like, this is a joke. So the Department of Justice is appealing a decision that dismissed the human smuggling charges against him. The notice of appeal was filed June 22nd. It comes 1 month after U.S. District Judge Waverly Crenshaw, and he looks like he lived on Crenshaw Street, tossed out the government case, saying it was vindictive and selective prosecution in violation of Fifth Amendment. How many cases do you think against American citizens get tossed out for vindictive and selective prosecution?
Not a lot.
Not a lot, if any, ever. But this guy, all of a sudden, it's vindictive. He did commit the crime. And just because they didn't,
One of his arguments for not being deported was because your media talks about me, it makes the rest of the world hate me, so you can't deport me. How is that an argument?
They should have never brought this guy back. They should have never brought him back. This was a mistake. They should have said, no, we're not bringing him back. Fuck you. Make me.
Yeah. But he was such a big deal. Who was it? It was Senator Van
Hollen went down, and then
yeah.
other ones. Garcia, a couple congressmen went down, and everybody was all worried about it. And this judge that actually didn't have any jurisdiction in the first place to say anything, a judge in Massachusetts, I think, or something, that had Zinnis, had no jurisdiction because he was never held there.
Right.
So she had no jurisdiction. Federal courts are not supposed to have any jurisdiction whatsoever at all. They're specifically stripped of all jurisdiction over immigration cases. The only thing they have is like a habeas case, which has to be, though, in the district where the person is actually at,
right.
Which he wasn't in the U.S. He was in El Salvador.
None of this, every bit of this story from beginning to end has made me question who Abrego Garcia is and how well connected is he? Because the Democrat Party literally went hand over foot for this dude. They went all in on this one guy. Why?
I want to know why his wife is still here, why she hasn't been deported. She's another legal alien. She shouldn't be here. Get her out. Oh, yeah, and she's got American kids. Well, are they American? Because she was a legal alien. He's an illegal alien.
I don't think born here, though.
Yeah, but that, to me, that don't make them American citizens.
No,
you're not. If you don't even know, if you're not subject to our jurisdiction, which means you're here with our permission, and you're
Here's the best argument for everybody out there, and you can literally, even if you want to play this back, okay? If the place you were born is your legal citizenship, if the place you were born is where your loyalty is supposed to lie, me as an American citizen, never mind the fact that my father was military, me as an American citizen being born in Germany means my loyalty, my allegiance, everything about me is German. But yet I am a U.S. citizen. Doesn't matter that I was born to military parents. You cannot make that argument because I was born on foreign soil. Just because we rent it out doesn't mean that that foreign soil does not belong to Germany.
Well, that's the whole thing is that.
So I'm not an American citizen by that argument.
Because the whole thing about birthright citizenship had to do with the parents citizenship. Like, it doesn't matter where you're born. If if one of your parents is an American citizen, you are an American citizen, a natural born American citizen. You get the citizenship through your parents.
Okay, but if they come here and they drop off a kid, they're claiming that that's an American citizen.
But it's not. That's the thing. That's the difference. Like, that's why idiots tried to say first about McCain because McCain was born in the Panama Canal Zone, which technically was American territory at the time, because a lot of people don't realize that in the Panamanian Constitution, it said that 10 miles on either side of the canal, or 10 or 20 miles on either side of the canal, was U.S. territory.
Right. Yeah, but I mean, it exists in another foreign soil, but yet
until Peanut Head Carter gave it away.
The argument still stays the same with it. Yeah, you can justify it. Oh, we own this, we own that, we own this. No, because especially when it comes down to, this whole thing of especially treason. I talk about this a lot. But that whole line of owing allegiance to the United States. It's the same concept there applied to this birthright citizenship thing. Just because I was born to an American parents, it does make me American legally, but I was born in a foreign country. So therefore, by right, I am foreign born. Okay? Now, when you put that as far as owing an allegiance, everybody says no. By the fact that you were born in this country means you owe an allegiance to this country. No, it does not. Because then that means I was born in Germany. I was physically born in Germany. I owe allegiance to Germany. This argument does not ring true for anybody like me in my situation, and you're going to lose people like me or anybody that knows people like me. Because it's not an argument you can make as far as that goes. Birthright citizenship. All right. If you've come here, let's say you are legal, you are of legal status. You're still into the process. You haven't proven by any means of the shape of imagination that you would kind of not be us. You still stick to the regiment. I would go ahead and say if you popped a kid out a little bit early before you became a citizen, fine, I'll grandfather you in. But to just come over here like China does and pop out a baby and then send that baby back, and now that's a U.S. citizen in Chinese soil being raised by Chinese that now have command over our system, should we let them back in and get involved? But that is incredibly frightening, because all you are saying is, just like the Muslims learned, I can get in, overwhelm your system, put our people in, and we own you. Birthright citizenship cannot be allowed in the way that they are actually talking about. It can't be, because if you plop a baby over here, what stops, let's say we have a Chinese spy problem we have for a long time. What stops one of them from coming over here, popping out a baby, and in 20 years that they start getting into our system and allowing more people in that area, or more people like him, to get involved? They're pushing for these things, and now all of a sudden we're looking at Chinese law, or we're looking at Sharia law instead of our law. Yep. Simply because we allowed them to be born here and called them a citizen? It makes no sense. That also means that
this guy's is a troll who comes to my channel all the time and usually gets kicked.
Go ahead. I have fun with these people.
Yeah, but he says, all persons born and naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States. Yeah, that little phrase you're trying to lead out, and subject to jurisdiction, that means something, Greg. And subject to the jurisdiction does not mean the legal jurisdiction, because if it just meant the legal jurisdiction, like that we could try them with crimes and prosecute them, then anyone in the fucking world is a U.S. citizen, because everyone in the world is subject to U.S. law. We go arrest people in Venezuela. We arrest people in the Philippines. We arrest people all over the fucking world for breaking U.S. law. So that would imply that everyone in the world is a U.S. citizen. So your argument has no weight whatsoever. It means we allow you to be here. You have allegiance to us, sole allegiance to the U.S. and no one else.
I would say that allegiance comes when you take that oath. And for migrants coming in, to be a U.S. citizen, you do have to take that oath. I understand that, yes. But here as American citizens, to me, that oath only means something when you have sworn that you are going to protect the people, you are going to protect the Constitution, or you are going to defend this country from enemies foreign and abroad. That means you took an oath to actually stand up and do something. I don't see the Pledge of Allegiance as an oath.
If the parents of the kids are not subject to be drafted by our military, they are not subject to our jurisdiction.
Fair argument with that, yes.
And that's the bottom line right there.
But that also means women aren't. And we muddied it a little bit, didn't we?
But women, the whole fact that women are not subject to the draft is something that should be unconstitutional, because why is that the one thing where it's like, yeah, you could discriminate by sex and say just men.
So men are forced to go and die, but women can do it voluntarily, but should be on the same level.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
There's an argument to be made about that. Do I want women on the front line? Only if they're capable of the job.
Hey, Derek, what's up? Great to see you. Yeah, I don't have any, that's the thing. If they're capable and could do the job, then fine. But they can't change standards.
I don't want to have to send out more men to rescue somebody that's wounded because you can't drag them across the field. I'm sorry. I don't want to have to risk more people being put in a line of fire because you were not physically strong enough to even grab somebody and drag. That just doesn't make sense to me.
It's also like, it's, you also have to, I mean, honestly, you have to be real about it. Like, how many other like men are going to act differently because it's a woman? They're going to do something to try to protect her or help her instead of doing their job. And be like, it gets like, it's like, oh, well, that's all that man, not the woman. It's like, well, no, you're risking the mission, and the military is all about the mission.
Right.
So I don't know. And I have to say, I forgot there was a $10 that came in on PayPal a while ago and I didn't catch it till just now. So thank you, KPT, for the 10. So that means we are now just $84 away from a second additional hour of the show. Thank you so much. Thank you. Selective service versus the draft. Yeah, there should why aren't women don't have to register for selective service because that is the draft, right?
Yes, you have, as a man, you have to register with selective service. It is an actual crime if you do not. So yes, by penalty of law, men are forced into the draft, and women are not. Okay, cool. You want to stay out of the draft? Can we pull back on some of the say you have? Because it's a little overreaching at this point.
Yeah, but so here's the thing. Like, this, if you look at this argument this judge made here with this guy, he says the judge explained that statements by the attorney general and these other people said that they reopened its investigation into the Salvadoran after a judge in Maryland and many members of Congress questioned why he was being deported. He was being deported because he was a fucking criminal member of MS-13, and we deport people. That's another reason that skews the fucking crime stats, because there's a lot of criminals that we just deport instead of prosecuting them. Like, you're a criminal, we're just going to fucking deport you. So, but if you're going to say we can't deport him, we're going to fucking prosecute you. And now he's like, no, because you're only prosecuting him because we didn't let you deport him. Well, yeah, that's not selective or vindictive prosecution. That is, we were deporting him instead of, in lieu of prosecuting him. And so now if you're saying we can't prosecute him, we're going to,
we just release him back on the streets to do whatever he was doing before. Yeah. With an even bigger ego because he knows full well he's not going to get caught for it.
It's crazy. So yeah, so Highway Patrol pulled him over in 2022, and the investigation. That's the thing too, is like they say, like no one ever did anything. They never closed this investigation. They never did anything. The Biden DOJ just didn't do shit when they caught this guy. They had him red-handed transporting people. They didn't give a fuck because these people were doing what they wanted them to do: spread the people around the country, move them in, get them in, move them out. Rawhide. That's what they were doing.
Mm-hmm. And aren't we missing something like 500,000 children from these migrant families?
A lot. I think they found quite a few.
Hey, you think this could have been the reason? Oh yeah, we did. We found like something last time I reported.
I think like 20% or 15-20% of them they found.
Right. But yeah, I mean, it's you were letting them transport children. We engaged in the biggest human trafficking I have ever seen.
350,000 they lost. Yeah, 350,000 Biden lost.
350,000
they lost track of.
But the last time I heard about it,
I mean,
was
all
in a
of
hearing.
them. Yeah, a lot. I mean, all of them are not like in being trafficked and stuff. It's just like they didn't keep track of where they went, so they have no idea.
Right. They just call them one time, and if you don't answer, then it doesn't matter. Move on. Yeah. But yeah, it's good to know that at least 20% of these kids, or up to 20% of these kids, are no longer there. It's good to know that. We do know where they are and how they are, but it's an atrocity that we let so much of that go. It really is. Me as an American, I'm ashamed of my own damn country, my government, to allow that shit to happen, to facilitate human trafficking on that massive scale.
This is a part of this case too that I don't get. Like, the U.S. does not want to send them to Costa Rica; they want to send them somewhere else. Like, he had a withholding of deportation order to Guatemala, not El Salvador. And so somehow that got twisted, because it actually says on the order Guatemala was where he wasn't supposed to be sent, because he was afraid of the of some Barrio 18 gang or whatever, because they killed a guy. He was they killed some dude. And so they didn't want to keep him out of Guatemala. So they sent him to El Salvador. And now they're like, oh, we want to go to Costa Rica. The U.S. is like, we're not sending you to Costa Rica. We're not a travel agency. at any time, if he wanted to go to Costa Rica, he could get on a fucking plane himself and go to Costa Rica. But if we're deporting him, we're going to send him where the fuck we want, not where he wants to go.
Right. Jennifer, thank you for the gifted sub here. That went to Sober Tech. Appreciate you. And Davey says a line about something about a rash. That's him. Oh, sorry, I'm not doing it. And you got one too.
I did. I got one. B-Job Secure gifted a membership to VSync. Thank you, B-Job Secure. On the Rumbles. I think that's it. Yeah. So that means now we're $79 away from adding a second additional hour.
But is anybody fed up with this guy as much as I am?
I'm
like, I don't even want to hear his name ever again.
There you go, VSync. Got a gifted membership. I can't stand it. I can't stand it. I don't know what's happening. So, and then in October, an immigration judge rejected his plea to reopen his unsuccessful asylum claim. Like, I don't understand how these people are still here. I don't understand how it's happening. This is not supposed to work like this at all. You got this California-based Biden judge issued a nationwide block on ICE's policy of arresting illegals at courthouses. This judge doesn't have this authority to do. This is not your power to do, Judge. You don't have this authority.
That would be state representatives, the state.
Well, no, even state can't
Congress.
stop. You can't. Congress, what's going to say? Well, so basically, you're saying that courthouses are a free zone. If you're at courthouses, you can't get arrested. No, people get arrested in court every fucking day.
Yeah, but
all being taken into custody.
Hey, Jim. Let's go back to the Stop Nick Shirley Act that real journalism is now illegal.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying, this is just gross.
It is within their capability. Are they going to do it, though? Now, would it actually stand? That's a bigger question, and I'd probably say no.
No, this isn't going to stand. It's going to get shut down. Of course, this is Judge Casey Pitts, a Biden appointee, ruled that ICE cannot detain illegal aliens at immigration courts. What? Why would they not be able to detain illegal aliens at immigration courts? What the fuck are you talking about?
The arguments never make sense.
Yeah. The Supreme Court previously ruled that federal district courts lack statutory authority to issue nationwide injunctions. However, Pitt said that she was able to issue this injunction because the plaintiff satisfied the requirements for a class certification. Really? What's their class? Just illegal aliens? That's not a class. That's not going to hold up, lady.
They're the protected class. They're the protected class because they're immigrants seeking asylum. Even though his claim was rejected twice, he should still be here because he claimed asylum at one point in time. And you don't understand. This is how due process works, Jim. We're supposed to go through millions upon millions upon millions of dollars for every single one of these people that want to claim asylum after the fact.
It says, for 80 years, Congress has commanded federal agencies to think before they act. Really, Congress has commanded the president? Huh. Because all federal agencies are executive branch agencies. That means they're the president. So that's a serious separation of powers issue for you, Judge, and for you think Congress commands the president to do any fucking thing. That's not how it works.
Yeah, they can only put him in check, and if the president doesn't listen, then the judicial branch gets involved.
No, the only choice is
they can also impeach too, but yeah.
That's it. That's the check on the president's impeachment. That's it. That really is it. People don't like to admit it, but that's it. Of course, Congress could do things with funding or stop funding, say you can't have money for this or that, but they really cannot command the president to do anything.
I mean, Biden proves that with the student loan thing. So yeah, you got a point.
That instruction codified in the administrative, they love this Administrative Procedures Act all of a sudden. It's not an administrative procedure to say we're going to arrest people that are breaking the law.
Right.
This is the second time Judge Pitts has blocked the Trump administration from making arrests at courts. And the last time, earlier this year, Pitts blocked ICE for making arrests in the Northern District of California. But now it's everywhere. Like, the rumble rash is a new dance.
I still don't understand it. I'll never understand it. Why we allow these things to happen. Oh, it's supposed to proceed like this. No,
it's not.
No, it isn't. It's not also supposed to be like somebody like Jack Smith actually can bring prosecutions of somebody actually running for president when taking an oath for a lower court that cannot bring the charges that he brought forward, and somehow it's supposed to fly in one state but not in another.
It's crazy. It's crazy. And what about this? Minnesota state employee under Tim Walz among 15 Antifa militants charged in the anti-ICE conspiracy.
At least y'all are doing something. That's all like Katie Davis Court. Yeah, I like her.
It's been revealed that one of the 15 Antifa defendants charged in the Minnesota anti-ICE conspiracy works for the state's Department of Natural Resources in the Walz administration. I'm very interested to see this. You heard about that guy. What was his name? Like Bollinger? What's his name? The guy that killed those politicians in Minnesota that said Tim Walz hired him because Tim Walz wanted to be the senator and take Klobuchar's, like supposedly.
Oh, yeah.
This I can't.
Vance Belter.
Yeah, Vance Bolter. That's
Bolter,
right.
Belter, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's pleading out. So I want to know what it says in his plea deal. If it says that that's the case, that this is what happened.
I want to know when he said Tim Walz fucking wanted to hire him. I want to know what happened with that. There's a lot to this story that was just like, oh my God, hush, hush.
Yeah, because they got some weird dude that came out of nowhere saying like, oh yeah, I know him and I live here with him and this other guy and he's a Republican. It's like, no, what?
Right.
What? The guy who's been assigned, basically appointed to government boards by Walz and the previous Democrat is a Republican. What?
Personally hired by Tim Walz and
the guy that was running NGOs and making all this money with NGOs and that money got shut down by Doge and Trump. That guy's a Republican. What? The guy that had no Kings posters and shit in his car when he did all this stuff. That guy's a Republican. What?
Yeah. Yeah, they tried to. Who was that? Oh God. Hammer Time. Paul Pelosi.
Hammer? Oh, Paul Pelosi. Yeah, that's another weird one that people just had to shut up about.
Somehow he was a Republican, but he had pride flags and Black Lives Matter flags and all kinds of left-wing propaganda sitting in his house.
Yeah,
he's Republican.
Yeah. It's crazy. So Stewart's been charged with conspiracy to impede or injure federal agents. 15 individuals with alleged ties to Antifa have been federally indicted. I saw this.
Today, a federal indictment was unsealed, charging 15 defendants with conspiracy to impede or injure federal officers and other charges related to efforts of two Minneapolis-based Antifa groups that violently opposed the enforcement of federal law in our state.
Now, this is the guy, Daniel Rosen, the U.S. Attorney for the District of Minnesota. This is the guy this guy is the reason that Greg Bavino got kicked out of being Border Patrol, because when Bavino was up there and they were doing all this stuff, I guess supposedly Bavino made a joke or something about how come we can never get a hold of this guy on Saturday.
Right.
Because you can see the thing on his head. He's an Orthodox Jew. So from sundown on Friday to sundown on Saturday, he doesn't take any phone calls. He doesn't do any work. He's like, so wait, so for Friday night and Saturday, we can't do anything because we can't get this guy on the phone? It's like, what is it? And then he made like something like, God's chosen people or something like that. And so basically that's what booted Von. That's what got him.
Rovino, yeah. I mean, that's some bullshit anyway.
It is some bullshit. Because that guy was doing the work, man. He was fucking doing the work.
But they were actually scared when that dude showed up. They weren't messing around.
Yeah, he retired after this incident happened, though. It was like a forced retirement. He was on with he didn't say anything about it when he was on with Bronca, but that's what happened. There was a whole hubbub about it, and then the next 2 days after it came out that they were making these claims about him being anti-Semitic, saying he was a Nazi and this and that, then he was gone.
Yeah. So that was a very blatant move for everybody that paid attention. That was he was
too good at his job.
Yeah.
So these people got indicted, and then we got this that a group of Antifa terrorists were just sentenced to hundreds of years in prison after the violent attack in the ICE facility in Texas. The ringleader got 100 years.
8 defendants convicted in the Prairieland ICE detention center attack case will be sentenced today in federal court in Fort Worth. So far, only 3 have learned their fates. Benjamin Song was sentenced to 100 years in prison. Cameron Arnold and Zachary Evans were both sentenced to 50 years. It comes more than 3 months after a federal jury found the group guilty following a 12-day trial stemming from an incident last July 4th outside the detention center in Alvarado. 8 defendants were convicted of charges including rioting, providing material support to terrorists, and explosives-related offenses. Benjamin Song was also convicted of attempted murder in the shooting of an Alvarado police lieutenant. The others face possible sentences ranging from 10 years to life.
Good. Get them all.
This is the case with the ambush shooting.
Right, where they
CBP,
went outside. Yeah, they did something, and when the cops came out to do something, they started shooting at them down in Texas. They shot a Texas sheriff in the neck or whatever. And,
yeah, that was the one where you do realize there was two attacks that same day, though, right?
Yeah, 2 separate facilities, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
right?
McKinley, Texas, and Alvarado. Alvarado was the one where the officer got shot. What happened to McKinley? We haven't heard anything about that. Are we just going to let him go because they didn't actually shoot an officer? They just let rounds go?
I don't know. I mean, look at how many people got away with the shit they did in 2020. The shit, all the stuff they burned down, all the different things, the attacks on ICE and stuff. I mean, the stuff that happened in LA, the stuff that happened in Portland, the stuff that has been happening in Chicago, outside of Chicago for almost a year now. Stuff that was happening at the facility, whatever, that's Delaney Hall in New Jersey. Like everywhere, who's paying for this? That's what they need to find out, is where this money is coming from, and start charging them with fucking sedition.
The money that was being pumped into the Democrat Party to get them elected is now being pumped into these riot groups like that. Like, it all started when USAID came apart. Ever since then, since USAID was dismantled, the Democrat Party has really been ramping this shit up. It always bothered me how you got, this happened, a day later, everybody's out there with printed signs, like immediately. How?
Well, that's the thing. It's all coming through the same groups, the DSA, the communist RevCom, the Revolutionary Communist Party of America. And, that's they're the same. I'm sorry. If you look at the DSA's messaging, what they want, they're communists. They're not socialists. Seize the means of production. That's communism.
Yeah. Mom Donnie is supposed to be a DSA member. Okay. So he's taking your houses because New York told you can't make enough money to fix them up.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the same thing.
It's the same exact thing. Yeah. And Tash Patel says the sentencing shows that the FBI remains committed to identifying, locating, and dismantling Antifa and its funding networks. I hope so. What was that?
Well, okay. The move to classify them as domestic terrorists, everybody's like, well, that does nothing. Yeah, it did. It really did, because if you can classify them as domestic terrorists, all you have to do is find international ties, and guess what?
They've already got that, though. They know they went to Cuba.
They're international.
Yeah, they go to Cuba to train. They all like this. That's like the group of people like this. The Salt Lake City. There's like this Salt Lake City that were more than likely part of this. The stuff that happened with Charlie Kirk. Those people, they're like Lipstick something or other, or like the John Brown Gun Club and that group.
Lipsticks. I know which one you're talking about. I just don't remember them.
But they went to Cuba to train for May Day. They were there along, they talked about it. And it's all interconnected. They're training with Palestinian terrorists while they're in Cuba. Hamas and
branding them domestic gave them the ability to spy on them. And they found international connections and then branded international. So the international terrorist organization classification is a lot stronger. It allowed them to go international because they said they're domestic, and now we can look.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what happened with that. And everybody's like, oh, domestic ain't. No, you don't understand. Because it was just, a month or two later that they said international criminal organization now?
Because there is a technicality in the law called I'm saying there is a technicality in the law called the First Amendment that you got the right to, you have a freedom of association. All right. I'm just saying there is. I mean, there is a federal statute that's still on the books that says you cannot be a member of the government if you're a member of the Communist Party.
Right. And there's also laws that are still there that say communists don't have rights in this country.
Correct. Which I'm fine with that.
I am too.
I'm a firm believer of a man I like to call a great helicopter tour guide.
Shea.
Yes, that used to.
It was effective, though, was it not?
Oh, it was effective, and that's like they always they weren't throwing everybody out of helicopters.
No,
they only did it to a couple to get the other people to talk.
And guess what? It was effective. Yeah. It sounds like something that I would advocate for, and people think I'm an asshole for that. Yeah. I'm just, like I say on my show, I am an asshole.
So the National Socialists of America, of which AOC is endorsed by and not rejected by her. There you go.
Right.
The National Socialists.
But
One way only. That's right. Free helicopter rides. One way only.
I say it on my channel all the time. I'm not crazy. I'm just ahead of the curve. Because I've been screaming this shit for the at least the past year and a half we've been doing the show. And now just people are all of a sudden now more and more, even like Asmongold. Now that dude has been sounding more and more like me the more I, catch clips of what he's talking about. But that dude has gone from literally just like, yeah, I don't know, maybe not, to fuck them, get them all out, do it any way possible. And if you're not going to let me,
obvious to anybody who's paying attention, the only people that are still running around saying like, oh, they're all our neighbors, they got to stay and doing these stupid protests and stuff are people that haven't paid attention at all. And that have basically just watched MSNBC or MSDNC, whatever you call it, MS Now, and CNN or The View. That's all they watch. And so they go like, oh, this must be true. Orange Man bad. They're just racist. And that's why these people are, this is not true. Look at the crime stats. It's like, yeah, we've seen they've cooked the crime stats. I do a segment like every other week where I pull up I do like almost 2 hours on illegal alien crime.
Yeah.
There's a great X follow called Illegal Alien Crimes. And he does like the top 25 every week or 2 weeks that he breaks down. If you check like 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 times, they're listed as white. It's like, well, there you go. And they go, oh, well, that's, and also like, any major city that's run by Democrats does not inquire about immigration status when they make arrests. That's why the crime stats don't say that they're illegals. All you have to do, though, is if you look at the actual prison population and legal alien. And that's even taken into account that, a lot of times they are letting them go because they go, oh, we don't want to convict them because of their immigration status. And we know they're doing that in Virginia. They're doing it in, Illinois. They're doing it in New York. They're doing it in LA. If they find out that they are illegal aliens, they go, well, if we can't give them this conviction, we gotta, we'll change it, we'll do this, and unless it's super heinous, like an actual murder or a rape that they can't cover up, then they try to finagle it and just not say anything. But if you look at Texas's prison population, 22% illegal aliens in Texas state prison. When you go, wait, how could that be possible? You're telling me that Texas is 22% illegal aliens? No,
but their criminal population makes that up.
Yeah. But that's just the ones that didn't immediately flee after they committed a crime, ain't missing, didn't get deported by the feds, because the feds a lot of time will come in and snatch them and deport them. Be like, well, instead of them sitting in your jail for 4 years, let's just get them out so it's not costing us money.
Good due process. You got to go through due process, ladies and gentlemen. Well, due process stops when you're actually found not to be here illegally.
Yeah. Jonah Finn says the Antifa had to shoot a cop to get tried and convicted. Where are the RICO arrests? Conspiracy to commit insert crime here against someone, some group, some state. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why they don't seem to be aggressive enough. I mean, what they did to the J6ers, they turned them into domestic terrorists, except for poor Ray Epps and idiot Jamie Ratskin. Yeah. And forcing people to commit suicide by basically telling them that they were traitors to the country for just saying like, hey, we want this looked at, and like being led in on a guided tour of the Capitol. Cause that's what it was. There was only one small area that was violent. The rest of it was not. It was like just one small area was violent. Everywhere else, nobody knew what was going on.
Right. But hey, it is getting real late. I got to get out of here because I got to get to bed.
Okay.
At work in the morning.
All right.
Appreciate it, man. I had a lot of fun.
All right. We'll do it again sometime.
All right. Y'all take it easy and have a good night. Let me do my thing on my side here for the Rumble crew. Yeah, let me get out of here real quick. All right.
No problem. All right. Well, that was Rich from Off Label Podcast. If you want to go ahead and follow him, on Rumble or YouTube. It's the Off Label Podcast. You can check him out on, I believe he does Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or something like that. So, yeah. Yeah. Thanks for hanging so long. Yeah. I mean, we are quite a bit away from the second hour, and we've actually almost done the whole second hour. We got 3 hours and 40 minutes. So we've done 40 minutes out of that second hour. But don't forget to cut my YouTube feed, please. All right, no problem. I'll cut it right now.